You may still be muted, Robert. You are muted still. There you go.
All good?
You're good to go.
Okay. All right, guys, I'll start when you're ready.
You go ahead.
Awesome. Okay. So hi, my name is Robert Bruza. I'm CEO of Advertas, a patented motion sensor-based ad technology that's disrupting digital advertising. Although most companies will spend more money on digital advertising than any other channel, despite 10 years of programmatic advertising, they still don't know where the money's going. In fact, it's getting worse. In 2020 alone, advertisers will waste over $100 billion on ad blindness, ad fraud, and lack of ad data. This is where Advertas comes in. By introducing new motion sensor powered ads that detect human activity, we've created a new generation of smart ads that drive ad engagement, can detect ad fraud, and provide new consumer data that gives advertisers more control over ad performance while the ad is still running. The secret is using new formats like 360, VR, and AR that allow the consumer to drive the ad experience, and then our patented technology captures their interactivity inside the ad, creating behavioral data that can independently verify human engagement even if they never touch the ad. Being motion sensor driven, our ads create a whole new level of interactivity that delights consumers and introduces an entirely new collection of data points. This data can be used to inform advertisers how to change their ad while it's running so that they can continually get better results. Advertas is unique because of our patented technology, which were built specifically for programmatic advertising. There are no special resources required. We're easy to use, and we work anywhere you see mobile ads today. Advertas has market traction, having spent the last 2 years testing our technology and creating custom immersive ad campaigns with some of the biggest brands and ad agencies in the US and Europe. What we found is that our ads consistently drive more than 25 times higher engagement than traditional ads. We've also shown that our ads can detect fraud, having worked with companies like Netflix and Sleep Number to identify bots and underperforming publishers while the ad was still running, while the campaign was still running. Our unique ability to capture engagement data inside the ad enables us to create a scalable new ad currency that changes the traditional impression-based model. Gone are the days where advertisers blindly pay for ads that consumers never see or never engage with. With our new CPHE model, cost per human engagement, advertisers can achieve as much as 40% more engagement at half the cost. In addition to introducing a new product, we are also introducing a new market segment in an industry that hasn't seen anything new in terms of an ad format in almost 10 years. Going forward, we will continue to develop new product for AR, VR, and other media formats with the goal to become the leading programmatic immersive ad marketplace. We're raising funds to scale our custom technology with the launch of a self-serve enterprise level SaaS platform that features ad creation, ad buying, and data reporting. Our SaaS platform will enable brands and agencies of all sizes to easily and cost effectively create, distribute, and measure immersive smart ads from their desktop computer. Our go-to-market strategy is based on development work we've already done for a market we already know. In other words, we'll be targeting mid to large size brands and agencies focused on mobile advertising. An important note is that since COVID-19, display advertising is up over 18%. This is timely for us because this is our market. Our team is an award-winning group of digital innovation experts who have worked at some of the biggest companies in the world, have previous startup and exit experience, and SaaS platform development. Current revenue projections put us at 125 million by year 5 based on a traditional triple-double SaaS growth model. Key inflection points include our ability to go to market in weeks, not months, as we have an MVP version of the platform built, and we have
30 seconds.
waiting for our enterprise solution. We are actively seeking a seed round of funding broken into 3 tranches over 18 to 24 months with milestones. Currently seeking $250,000 as part of the first tranche. This is in the form of a convertible loan with a market cap of $3 million. Use of funds will go to engineering, marketing to get initial subscriber traction. Quick summary, Avertas is going after a $31.2 billion marketplace. We have proven market fit. We have patented technology and exclusive IP, award team, and seeking an initial raise of $250. Thank you.
Thanks, Robert. Mark? Any questions, please raise your hand in the panelist area, please.
I think Mark was talking, but on mute.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. Robert, I know you have a question, so let's start with you.
Oh, thank you. Nice presentation. So my question is you have a minimum viable product. Have you shared this with a beta customer? And if so, what was the feedback?
We did. Good question. Thank you. So we have a SaaS platform built. We're raising funds to finish the last pieces of it to make it an enterprise. It's some marketing pieces, some paywall pieces. What we've done is we've tested it with some of our closest customers. These are agencies in Australia, Africa, and Europe with the existing model. And the biggest feedback we got from them is they love it. It's easy to use. It's one person at a desktop that can do the work of 10 people in an hour, which they really enjoyed. They wanted more features to do creative work. And most of all, they want to be able to buy the media directly from inside our platform. And that's one of the pivots we've made in the recent 3 to 4 months.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, next, I think, Pat, you had a question, or do you still have a question? Maybe not anymore.
So nice presentation. Can you talk a little bit about your data? So what the data that you collect, does the client own them, or you aggregate and then you get to sell them and package them and sell them again?
Yeah, we own the data. We have an exclusive way in which we collect that data because of our patent. So we actually have, gives us an advantage in the marketplace. We serve the ads, right? So we host it on CDN networks globally. That allows us to collect what's called interactive data or behavioral data. So as people are looking around and doing this and interacting, we're tracking that information. And in campaigns that we've run for Netflix, for Air France, and Progressive Insurance, we're able to track what they're looking at and then update the ad based on what they're looking at to be more relevant within 24 hours and see an increase in engagement of up to 50%.
Great, thanks.
We own the data, and we charge for the data as part of the SaaS platform or for additional use. We can partner with third-party data as well.
Thank you.
Terrific. Benton, I have you next.
Yeah, good presentation. I like that you're trying to disrupt a $100 billion problem, and I heard a lot of buzzwords after that. I'm trying to understand what your competitive advantage is. I see you protect it with some IP. Can you describe that a little more? And then I'm trying to understand your value prop for your customers. If you're tracking lost money and lost efficiency, how do you prove that to your customer?
Yeah, let me shoot back to that really quick. I'll answer the second question first. The why customers are going to use us and want us is because of the uniqueness of the format. It helps them stand out in the marketplace. In a very noisy marketplace, it gives them that advantage to get noticed. Number one, it gives them something unique to stand out. Number two, it gives them data they can't get somewhere else, anywhere else. That behavior data that I'm talking about, when we apply it, is very effective at improving campaigns while it's running. So instead of waiting 6 months to figure out if they got click-throughs or they didn't get click-throughs, they can get that information directly from us, not through the ad network, in like 24 hours, and they can use that information to adjust the campaign. The third reason is cost, and I think that's what you were getting at as well, and I want to show you one slide here. So the cost differential is that because we drive such higher levels of engagement, advertisers have to spend a lot less money on impressions to get same or better results. The net is they can get 40% more engagement for half the cost of what they currently spend on their digital advertising. That engagement, by the way, if I may, that engagement translates to lift. Lift is what they measure at the end of the cycle to say, did we get results? And more signups, more purchases, more quotes, more bookings, whatever their metric is. When you increase engagement by 25%, you can see as much as 100% lift in whatever your end metric is.
All right. Well, I think that's it for questions, unless I'm missing anyone. It doesn't look like it. Well, thank you very much, Robert.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Robert. Anyone else with a question to raise their hand before we go? How
Yeah,
much time do we have, Stephen?
Hi, this is
Yes,
Shaheen. Can you hear me? Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Shaheen.
Yeah. Quick question about users. So I heard all the pitch from the advertising standpoint of getting the customers who are going to pay for it. Can you tell us a little bit more about the people that are going to walk around with their phones looking for advertising?
Well,
What kind of research have you done there?
Yeah, so what we found is, so it's important to note that you don't have to do anything different to see our ads. They appear just like a normal ad does today. So there's nothing different from the consumer standpoint. They're just getting better ads. And here, I'll show you a quick example.
Robert, if I may, while Robert's pulling that up, this is Laura Barton, I'm co-founder. In answer to your question, Shaheen, I think one of the proof points is in the dozens and dozens of campaigns that we have run, where we have consistently driven engagement levels that are typically about anywhere from 28 to 80% of consumers that come across ad units that are powered by Advertise technology intentionally engage with them.
Can you give me a number associated with the percentage?
Excuse me?
Can you give me a number? Like you said, 80%, but is it 80% of 100 people or
yeah.
1,000 people or 10,000 people?
For example, we did an Air France campaign that was 20 million impressions across the United States and Europe. Of that campaign, 45% of the 20 million impressions, 45% of those people who actually had the ad in front of them engaged with it. So that would be about almost 10 million people.
Okay, excellent. That's what I wanted
All
to
right.
get at. Thank you.
Thank you. Time is up. Thank you both, Robert and Laura. Great presentation.
Our pleasure. Thank you all. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Judges, please evaluate while we're transitioning to the next presenter. And next presenter, please raise your hand. Armchair Quarterback. And give me 1 second. I'm still doing some work here. All right, Stephen, you're coming in as a presenter. Whenever you're ready, share your screen and we'll get started with the time when you get started.
Okay, so I'll go off mute. I'm going to go on video and just
now click on inside Zoom. Click on the bottom. There is a green button that says share screen. There you go.
Okay, and then my looks like I'm sharing stuff. Great. So Armchair Quarterback. It's available now. You can play it tonight. And it's the initial product in a platform of games where players predict the next play during live sports broadcasts, increasing fan engagement and their viewing experience, while allowing the sports industry to monetize people's addiction to their cell phones. Here's the backstory. 3 years ago, I was watching a football game with my family. I'm really into it, but my wife, she's also playing Word with friends. And my son, he's checking his fantasy scores. And the defense is stacked on the line of scrimmage, so I know it's time to throw long. They do. Touchdown. I'm ecstatic, but the family barely noticed. Nobody was really watching the game with me. They were distracted on their phones, and nobody really appreciated Dad's football genius. And I thought, why isn't there a game we predict the next play and everyone plays along? So I researched the space and no product existed. And so I decided to create it, and Armchair Quarterback was born. Turns out my problem, getting the family to watch the game with me, is also a high value problem of TV networks, teams, and advertisers in the multi-billion-dollar sports industry. Specifically, in pitch language, how do you get people passionately engaged watching a game in a world with more and more distractions? And there we go. Armchair Quarterback solves that problem using the well-known principle of, if you ask someone a question, they'll wait around for the answer. And we take it to the limit by asking for a prediction 120 times a game, each within 10 seconds of the last play. This rapid fire question answer format leaves no time for distraction. And point systems and leaderboards keep people watching to the final whistle. The data shows over 100 games played already that 65% of our players make predictions through the entire game. This is orders of magnitude greater than anything else out there and is the prime objective of our customers who are already spending big bucks to retain viewers. NBC specifically is giving away $100,000 a week. Oh, sorry about that, a little lag time. So NBC is giving away $100,000 a week to players of their prop game. And they report that these prop bettors are watching the broadcast 10% longer than normal. What's at stake for NBC in this case is ad revenue of $91 million for a single Sunday night game, all based on the viewership ratings. So NBC will spend $100,000 for a marginal 10% increase of just a fraction of their viewing audience, but that fraction happens to be our exact demographic. Our proposition to NBC is keeping that fraction for over 3 hours for an entire game, not just 10% longer. And we do that without prize money. So we have their attention. The figures I just mentioned equate to a CPM of $42, which is 2 to 3 times the average CPM for normal programming because sports programming is a premium ad buy. Since our model is ad revenue based, the C part's really encouraging, but we need the M, and so it's all about reach. But we're not going to spend anything to get reach. Our partners are going to help us get reach. Let's see. TV networks, teams, and leagues already have reach in the millions and have a developed sales team already selling sponsorship. We're offering those teams a pilot and then a white label version of Armchair Quarterback, where they control the ad inventory to further monetize their sponsors during their 16 to 21 games in a season, and we'll get a little bit of rev share. It's an accretive win-win for both of us. But then something really wonderful happens, the network effect. When those fans from the white label apps want to go play any other NFL game, they have to use the branded Armchair Quarterback app, where we own the ad inventory, get 100% of the ad revenue, and our cost of customer acquisition is almost zero. We've got a lot of traction in this area, and we'll be signing several MOUs with teams, leagues, and other folks in the coming
30
weeks.
seconds.
Okay, and we'll be generating revenue before the end of the season. Boy, that was fast. So most significantly, we're finalists for Comcast NBC Universal's Sports Technology Accelerator. That'll include investment and collaboration on a bunch of technology products. Got a great cost structure, $36,000 of operating costs for the whole season. We can modify the platform for $300,000 to add baseball, football, or golf and tennis. $2 million gets us way down the roadmap. The key is, in the near future, people are going to be screaming at their TVs through Alexa, playing Armchair Quarterback, and that's the future that we hope to have happen. So thanks for listening to the abbreviated story. I'd love to tell you the 12-minute story. How can I help you believe in the company like I do?
All right. Well, thank you. Now we've got time for some questions. I think the first one that I show up is Robert.
Thank you. I enjoyed the presentation. So my question is, I think DraftKings has something in this space, and they're after the same customer that you are. So how are you going to get your share of the that customer
there's-
versus DraftKings?
Yeah, so there's a big difference between what DraftKings is offering. DraftKings is offering fantasy sports where you make a prediction before it's not play by play. They make a prediction how many yards will Gronk receive, and so DraftKings is focused on almost an entirely different technology, which doesn't require the play by play action, and there's technology moat around play by play. They're also focused on gambling, which is going to take several years. While everybody like DraftKings and FanDuel are focused on state by state gaming and the gambling and these individual things, I'm playing the long game, going for what will eventually be play by play betting. And when that comes, I'll have the technology, the data, a moat around it, and literally in our business plan, by year 5, with just licensing the software, that's a $10 million a year license.
Thank you.
But that's a great question, because DraftKings and prop betting, completely different, but they all talk about them being live, but this is live.
All right, thanks. Ken, I have you next.
Thanks. Yeah, Stephen, really interesting presentation. I was curious, a couple questions that are sort of interrelated. Where are you guys getting the stats from piped in, and how are you solving, or the answer, I guess, to the how they ran the play? How are you solving the latency issue, which obviously is huge with prop bets? And then is there IP?
Yes. Yeah. So we monitor the broadcast because we have to, and we have a patent pending on the software that will fix latency or negate the latency across broadcasts. So NBC is in particular interested in this with all the play-by-play, all the things they're trying to do on a second screen. But for everybody's just quick interest, ATTV now streaming is between 23 seconds and almost a minute later than cable TV. So to have a product where you're playing along with the game, you have to synchronize the game in the hand to the game on the phone. It took us a year to solve that. We've got a patent pending on it. Anybody who tries to do that will run into a pretty difficult time. And that gives us a pretty good lead, at least a year lead on anybody.
Got it. So you're not trying to go live enough to the point where people in stadium could be making the bets, but you're just trying to beat the TV.
We could do in stadium, but we need a license from the league to be inside. So you could literally do in stadium right now. The other issue with that is that—
Oh wait, isn't your latency not ready for in stadium right now at 20 seconds?
No, in stadium there's zero latency. We just moved to that point. Yeah, the in stadium would be fine.
You're saying you would have zero latency from the stats in stadium?
Yeah, we don't use, so the other point, we don't use anybody, we don't use a third-party stats. We monitor, we get it directly from the broadcast. With a license from the NFL or the teams, we'd be in the truck, right? So we get it the same time everybody else does, but we've got technology that's so fast nobody knows that we're not in the stadium.
Thanks.
You bet, the stuff.
Okay, Pat, you're next.
Good presentation. Just quick touch on your revenue model. How do you plan to make money?
First, we're gonna do rev share. We're gonna white label this thing all over the place for any team so that they can monetize it with their existing sponsors, and we'll just get a rev share. But then for all the other games, when people don't use the white label, we'll have a direct advertising sales at what should at least be 42 CPM. And with a break-even point of 30,000, we'll get profitable real fast. That's initially, it's all B2B. B2C coming down the stream with more development. We'll have in-app purchases, avatars, custom game screens, just kind of like the Fortnite model. And that could actually be bigger for us in the long run, because one of the things is going to be your ability to trash talk your friends after you score a touchdown and get the points and the icon. For $5 a year, you'll be able to send that onto all your friends' phones and just trash talk them.
All righty, thanks.
Terrific. Hey, Sanjay, you're next.
Hey, Mark, the time is up. We should move
Oh, okay. Right. Well, Sanjay, if you want to ask your final question.
Just a quick question. Yeah. By the way, I've been playing fantasy football since '93, so I see this being a big B2C application
It's an
down
overlay. It doesn't compete with Fancy. It overlays it.
B2C, I think would be huge. Have you talked to any teams, Stephen, so far?
Yeah,
I love the colors. It looks like the Chargers colors back there.
Yeah, no, that's just our logo. So I've spoken to the New York Jets. They already have a prop bet in their app, but then they fired the GM and crap hit the fan. I'm actually working the back channels with teams with a league in Europe. I've got a conversation going with one of the college football teams, because we do college as well. So one of the top 25 college football teams, and an entire conference where people will play Armchair Quarterback to their conference championship. So
yeah, if you need some introduction to Big 12 or Texas, let me know. I'm a Texas. Probably.
Well, there's some burnt orange around in this office somewhere. I would love to talk to you. I think the play is really the alumni associations. The ADs are swamped right now.
Yeah.
So, Stephen, Sanjay charges by the minute, not by the hour.
That's okay.
All right.
We talk fast.
Thanks, Stephen. Good presentation.
Yeah, thank you. And you can play us tonight, Armchair Quarterback.
All right, there you go.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, Stephen. Thank you. All right. All right, let's see. Please evaluate. And again, we're putting in the chat, we're putting the link for the next company. And right now, the next company is Escape Plan with Austin. There you go, Austin.
Can I ask a question of the previous company, or are they gone?
They're gone. We're beyond. We're like at 6 minutes. So put your hand up, Howard's much faster or next time.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right, the link is in the chat. Austin is on, and Austin, you can share your screen.
All right, how we doing, everybody?
Good, good.
Let's see here.
Whenever you're ready, Stephen will start the timer.
Perfect. All right.
Austin, anybody else want to come with you, or you're alone doing the presentation?
Lone Wolf today.
Lone Wolf, there you go. Good.
There we
good
go.
Job.
All right, let's go, Stephen. Are we ready? Perfect. March 2019. I was going to a music festival, and I was put in charge of planning travel for my 7 single friends who all have 7 individual levels of responsibility. Needless to say, for the second time and multiple times, I realized that planning travel is hard. I realized I had a problem. And I did some market research, and I realized I wasn't the only one. Group travel planning is hard. It's decentralized. We have all this technology surrounding us, but still there's really no central hub for groups to organize. Everything is still left up in the air. There needs to be a solution. That solution is Escape Plan. So Escape Plan is the group travel platform where you can plan and share everything for your group on one social platform so that everybody is on the same page and unified. So how does it work? Well, using our app, Escape Plan, you create a trip, you plan with your friends, you chat, you can book, manage, and then you escape. What we've done is highlighted some key features that really represent some of the key pain points that when we did market research, that people identified saying, hey, I have this issue and I need it solved. And we're really happy that Escape Plan, we've highlighted and gone after all those pain points. So how do we make money? Well, for our first generation, we want to be as clean and concise as possible. So we're only going to be focusing on creating revenue off of APIs. And we're going to be doing that through booking airfare and through booking stays. I also want to highlight that as we approach a second generation of our app, we're going to be moving into a cost per action model, as well as introducing a pro version or a paid version of the app. Target audience. So who is this for? Well, we have a very tight target audience. It's 18 to 34-year-old singles, right? In the upper 56th percentile of their annual income. This group of people, they are constantly traveling, even still today. So they're taking multiple trips all throughout the year. they're planning travel with each other almost constant. So how are we going to do this? Well, as you can imagine, in this particular space, it's all about the marketing launch. It's all about how you approach your customer. And being a previous marketing ad agency guy myself, I'm very aware of that. So in addition to this slide, we've highlighted an entire marketing launch strategy that we partnered with a digital ad agency to do so. So we're very particular in how we're going to go after our target market and how we're going to get this product in front of our users. Competitive analysis, who else is out there? There's a few other people doing this, and I'm sure glad, boy, am I glad they did. At the end of the day, we can definitely talk more about this later, but the competition is just this. There's not a clear leader right now. This is a new space. This is a space that no clear leader has been able to take the forefront, and that's why Escape Plan and myself, that's why we're going into this in this sector. It's wide open. Management team. As far as full-time staff right now, it's just myself, Austin. We have a digital ad agency that's coming on board. We have AJ Gurjic, who is our marketing advisor, but we're very early stage and we're excited to be bringing people on as we move forward. Capital raise. What are we seeking? So right now we're seeking an angel round of 100,000. What is that? What is the goal of getting that money? That goal is to have a first generation product built and to capture 50,000 active users in the first 12 months. What are those funds going to be used for? Up until this date, the project has been entirely funded by myself, Austin, and that is include market research, sweat equity going into that as well, research, other research, building out a clickable demo prototype, and the use of funds is going to be developing that first generation product. The results of that, we're going to build the product, and then we're going to have a beta launch so that we can understand how we are going to go into the market at the most perfect opportunity, and
30
then
seconds.
transfer that into our seed round. So, summary, Escape Plan, the solution. We're the group travel platform. We have reoccurring revenue models in place. Our target audience is a very tight sector. We're really, I really am happy with the opportunity at hand that we can actually be the leader in the group travel platform. And I'm really excited to talk with you guys about how we can join each other on this journey.
All right. Well, terrific. First question. Nice presentation. Robert.
Thank you, Austin. So my question is so they call you and you're going to set up the trip for them. And so you must have some kind of price gross margin in mind relative to if these people did the trip themselves or went to booking.com. Could you give us a little color on that?
Sure. And you know what? My apologies. It sounds like I didn't explain it right. Nobody's calling me. This is an app that is creating a platform. If you look to your right side of your screen right now, that's our home page, if you will, after you create a trip. So the user actually creates a trip, adds their friends that they want to go on the trip, and now they can all see a home screen together where they can go book within that app. They can suggest and chat within each other in that app. The whole idea is that you have a platform where your group now can solve everything that they traditionally would need to do together on one place.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Benton, you're next.
Hey, Austin, good stuff. And thanks for saying your name over and over again. I mean that sincerely. I've heard so many pitches where people forget the name of their company and their name. So let's talk some metrics. You're asking for 100,000. What are the terms of that deal? And do you have an idea of what your customer acquisition cost is? Thanks.
Great question. Customer acquisition costs right now it's kind of a shot in the dark. I don't have an exact number for what that will be. As far as terms of the deal, I'm still in negotiating with what the actual terms will be for that 100,000.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions? Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, well, thank you, Austin.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Austin. All right. Let's see. So please evaluate Austin's company escape plan. And meanwhile, we will bring in Filmocracy with Paul. Paul, please raise your hand. Make it easier for me to see you. There you go. Thank you. All right, and we're putting Filmocracy's link in the chat already, so that makes it easier for you to evaluate the company. Paul, whenever you're ready, just share your screen and we'll start the timer.
All right. Hello, my name is Paul Jun. I am the CEO of Filmocracy, a film and festival streaming platform. It's no secret that streaming is the present and future of content, but as we've witnessed over the past year with Quibi and HBO Max faltering, even having a war chest of funds isn't enough to draw audiences anymore. Streaming has become too competitive, and as a result, unsustainable. Churn rates are soaring as consumers jump from service to service or create new emails to get their free month. There was a record $25 billion spent on content this year, and production costs show no sign of slowing down. And the cost of acquiring users is more than 3 times the average subscription cost. As is applied to every industry with many competitors, doing more of the same isn't good enough. Just having great content isn't good enough. Streaming is incredible due to its scalability, but it lacks loyalty and engagement. But there's one industry that engenders a huge amount of loyalty and engagement, and that is film festivals. And so what we've done is combine the two into one unified experience. By streaming films and film festivals, we're able to take ownership of a larger share of the distribution pipeline, while avoiding the costs of producing festivals or content. Here's how it works. On Filmocracy, a user can decide to watch a film from our library of 2,000 movies, or they can decide to attend, let's say, the San Diego International Film Festival. At the virtual festival, users can watch, rate, and review films or participate in panels and workshops. And for doing so, they'll earn virtual popcorn, which can be spent in our shop or tipped to other users or even filmmakers. While the film festival industry is only a bit over $2 billion, there are over 12,000 film festivals around the world. Each of them has a captive and local audience that can be leveraged worldwide through our platform. And once those festival films decide to distribute, they're already on Filmocracy, ready to participate in the $159 billion streaming market. We're delivering the crafted local films of each film festival to a captive and mature film consuming market that is now consuming more than 7 hours of video per day as of 2020. And the best part, we don't have to pay to acquire any of this content. Everything is done on straight distribution terms, so we only pay for the content we use. Meanwhile, the competition spends a quarter of the Vision 2 fund every year on content alone. COVID-19 was a disaster for the world, but we've made lemonade out of it. Since film festivals were disproportionately impacted, they're desperate for our platform, something beyond Vimeo, something beyond Zoom. Our platform allows attendees to watch films, attend live panels and workshops, do virtual networking, and even host live music. We build custom virtual environments to suit each festival's needs, and in turn, we get all of their attendees as users, we earn revenue, and fill our content pipeline. I've done my share of knocking on doors in my life, and without a doubt, this has been the easiest sales cycle of my life. After launching our virtual hosting platform in July, we quickly signed over 25 film festivals, of which we participate in 35% of ticket and sponsorship sales. We've also signed the American Film Market, which is the largest film market in North America, happening in just a couple of weeks. We're forecasting that we'll earn $70,000 in revenue, acquire 50,000 users, and over 100 festival titles just from hosting festivals this year alone. Here's some stats, of which the most important are the review rate and tipping rate, because this is how we know our community is engaged and interested in one another. I know October isn't over yet, but I checked last night and our minutes watched is currently at 180,000 for this month. So I think we're doing pretty well. So how will we really make money? Well, we have 2 subscription levels. Basic premium costs $7.99 a month for an ad-free experience, and $29.99 a month gives unlimited access to virtual film festivals that we host. We also generate revenue from ads, sponsorships, and private channels. We'll be collecting some of the most intricate ratings data in the world, which can be developed into its own product or sold to studios and large production companies. And of course, the film festivals that we host. And none of this would be possible without a stellar team. Myself and Jasper are independent film veterans and are supported by amazing programmers and product experts who are all much
30
smarter.
seconds.
There are also 10 other members of the team across 7 different time zones, helping and supporting Filmocracy because they believe in what we're doing, which is building a sustainable future for independent film. We're raising $1 million via convertible note on a $5 million cap. We'll use those funds to hire more engineers and sales executives to capture the explosive virtual festival market, ultimately driving user growth without typical customer acquisition costs. We've seen over the past couple of years a number of streaming platforms exit to larger media corporations, including Pluto TV and Tubi. If you'd like to join us on our journey to redefine the streaming industry, we'd love to talk to you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Paul. First question, Zandra.
Great presentation, Paul. As we know, living in these days, this is something that we want to be able to access. Tell me a little bit about the competition, because there are definitely different companies doing something similar that are already there that could pivot to this model. How are you going to be different? How are you going to explain that to the different filmmakers that want to, the film festivals?
So there's a few different ways to tackle this question, because you have film festival hosting platforms, the biggest one being Eventive, and they're just hosting film festivals, and in a very traditional way, where they're just building pages where you can click on movies and maybe watch a panel, and that's it. There's no interactivity. The attendees of the festival cannot speak to each other or meet with each other, and that's something that's different about us. And then from the other side, obviously there's tons of streaming platforms. Most of them are either very big corporations or they're focused on a particular niche, like African-American content or Latin American content or horror. But what we're doing instead is focusing on gamification and ratings, because all of this other independent content that gets produced, you don't know anything about it. You don't recognize it. So deciding to watch it is very hard because there's so many other options. I could just be on Instagram right now, wasting my time instead. So the rating portion is very important for us. And so we ask you at the end of each movie to rate on a few different categories, like how was the plot? How's the dialogue, cinematography? And based on this, we reward with virtual popcorn that can be spent in our shop. And so that's the extra incentive that gives us the data that we need so that other users can figure out like, oh, this movie I've never heard of, but it's a 9.5. So maybe I'll give it a try.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Any other questions?
Paul, this is Vishal. You mentioned that your 70,000 is the revenue. Is it the projected revenue for 2020 or that's revenue till date?
That's revenue till date.
Okay.
Well, that's just from about April of this year, but I think by the end of the year, we should hit about 120,000.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, if there are no other questions, thank you very much, Paul, and everyone, let's get our scores in.
JJ, I think you're on mute.
That makes a lot of sense while I'm talking. There you go. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, so please evaluate the chat. In the chat now we will have the next company, which is Interstudy, and it's by Dan, and Dan is coming through. All right, Dan. Dan, do you have anybody else coming with you? Rick, you're raising your hand. I'm sorry, I can't help unless you're trying to come in as well.
Brian should be in here in a sec.
Oh, here's Brian. Okay. All right, Brian, you're both in.
How's that look?
Looks okay. You can put it in. There you go. Looks good.
Okay. Imagine diving into a book and feeling like you're interacting with the author herself. I'm Dan Beauregard, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of InterStudy. Is there any room for innovation in the $123 billion publishing industry and for a new engaging experience? If so, what's the best strategy to do the bottoms-up approach? I'll show you how our developers, led by my friend Brian Noah, are approaching this question. And I, as a law enforcement officer, will try my best to cut through the fluff. Brian has 15 years of experience leading teams for successful products. He's currently serving post-acquisition as a principal engineer for Exactuals. I'm showing a seed investor here as a reference, but as you'll see later, relationships are our bread and butter. But InterStudy is an app that brings three popular trends to books: convenience, conversation, and dynamic content. It's an engaging user interface that comes exactly when the market needs it, pandemic and all. Like most solutions, InterStudy was conceived through the pain of doing something the traditional way. For us, that was a Bible study. In today's pace, sometimes it's too involved. Typically includes a book, a study guide, a journal, a Bible, or whatever else, or the clunky digital alternatives. And our vision is to eventually be able to do this while driving, arriving at your destination with your homework officially and magically completed. We initially parsed books and scrolled them to create natural prompts for questions, but it had to ultimately support an interactive hands-free voice experience. However, that single decision opened more possibilities than we anticipated, and quickly enough that we had to prioritize the features for outcome, which would be the quickest path to revenue. Combined with a creative interface that is able to ingest books or create them from scratch, we gained some immediate footing and support in a very specific and obtainable market. We went with initially a proof of concept and then a MVP and eventually a live app. Every pitch in the 10 to 12% Christian segment was met with some infectious enthusiasm, with a touch of skepticism and unbelief. But in most cases, the pitches led to licensing actual products with a 50-50 royalty agreement, which is our revenue model. They were feeling this problem, but were too close to see the solution. And it's a relatively small initial market, and 1/5 of readers are interested in new technology enough to regularly use that. And books that include questions for personal reflection or group discussion are about 1/3 of the segment. So our focus is roughly 6% of the Christian market, which is a marginal $90 million. It's a bit deceiving because available inventory doesn't always have a direct effect on sales, but we're okay with being extra conservative at this point. And our MVP was tested with a 100-person sample and only about 10 regular users, but they loved the experience enough to actually stick with it through a basic web version. While we loved seeing that, we lean more into the intuition of some key relationships that we've developed in the industry. So before I start my quick, dreamy founder optimism, I'll just say that the leading trend predictions offer some real hope for this type of a solution, but the bottom line is that the future is bright for publishing and it's prime for innovation. What we discovered is that books must evolve, and they will. The go-to-market is encouraging, but not simple. We'll need our 7+ touches, with the higher converting stages coming from the distribution paths of our licensed partners. But a paid campaign that tests, optimizes, and scales can't be neglected. And that's why strategic partnerships are essential, all built on strong relationships and product fit. What we built for an $85,000 seed can couch about 100 to 200 users. So we're offering about 14% for $500,000. And investors should expect an additional round that where we can tackle conversational audio experience and the serviceable available market. Thank you.
All right, great timing. Okay, well, thank you very much. Any questions? All right, well, if nobody has any questions, then I guess we can get our evaluation. Oh, I'm sorry, Sanjay, you have a question.
Yes, so I think you said the initial market you went after was the Christian market, the Bible group market. And
yeah, I mean, that was where the pain was felt for me as the founder. And so we kind of approached it just as a desire to get the tool in their hands. And it kind of grew into this kind of growth monster on its own.
Tell us, maybe it was difficult for me to understand, but so what are they doing differently there? What is it that they did that got them excited, that 10%?
Well, I mean, everybody's feeling that pain point. As the image showed before, the diving into study material at this point involves what is called a war room experience. So you set some time aside in your day and you get all of those elements together, and you know that the pace of our society now really, there's some actual real pain in people who are trying to dive into content deeper. So we're trying to do this as kind of a bridge between generations where you can have that experience and you can do all of those things without leaving a single element out, all on a mobile. So, at the side of the soccer field for the mom, or, wherever.
So it makes me read better. Is it more immersive reading experience, or are you saying I'm learning better? What is the end result here?
It is a more immersive reading experience. Originally, it was just to capture responses because there are already interactivity questions in some content in Christian publishing, and in all learning, growth, and spiritual learning environments. There are actual questions within the books. There's just no way to actually feed those in a way that you can track it across devices and quickly access it. So it's oftentimes driven towards like a small group interaction experience.
Okay, so you're going to say it's going to create a new category of readers who will enjoy this experience better.
Very much, yes. Yeah. And one of the other pictures in there that I didn't quite have time to explain is embedded video. So what we're doing is we're approaching our existing authors and influencers to put exclusive content above the chapter, maybe talking about the history of how it was inspired, or a message to the reader, or whatever. But some of the authors are getting really excited about being able to actually preclude a book or a chapter with some exclusive content.
So you have this Amazon picture here. Do you see like a sixth bucket here beyond the 5 that could be yours in the future? Is that what you're thinking?
The orange one is our vision.
Okay, that's your vision.
It's already there. Yeah.
Sorry, too many questions. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ajay. Max, you're next.
Yes, just briefly, what do you view as your greatest challenge?
Oh, that's a good question. We're not having a whole lot of challenges with traction in this segment. Vertical growth into the possibility, or the market above, which would be outside of the Christian market, might be a challenge. I mean, I personally feel like we would be acquired by Amazon before we actually started to be as disruptive as we could be, because with the contracts that we already have, I don't think anybody's coming into our space with anything like this.
Got it. Thank you very much. I got your answer. Thank you.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like we have any further questions. So thanks so much. And everyone, let's just get your evaluations in.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Dan. Thanks, Mark. Max, you can ask that question to everybody, and it will be a really hard question to answer.
Well, when someone pauses like that, it gives you food for thought. I mean, yeah, it's a tough question, but you as an entrepreneur, you need to have an honest answer for it.
Yeah, it's a very tough question.
Yeah.
All right, please have your evaluations in, and then we'll bring Nick. Nick is with Invent Global, so Nick will be coming in next.
Hey, hello, you guys can hear me?
We can hear you, we can see you. Are you gonna share a screen?
Yeah, let me share the screen. Now I got promoted here. All right, you guys see that? Awesome, cool. Well, first, I just want to thank you, JJ, for putting this on. I know how difficult it is to put these digital things together when we're used to in person, so thanks a lot. Yeah, I guess I'll just get started now. Hi, guys. My name is Nick Durazio. I'm the Director of Corporate Strategy for an esports media company called Invent Global. Now, I know that for a lot of investors, it's all about when is the right time to invest. And I can honestly say that right now, esports and competitive gaming is at an all-time high. So I hope that my pitch and this explanation shows that. So to get started, let's have a quick esports market update. Gaming is up amid the coronavirus outbreak, right? It's one of the very few industries that really haven't been hurt. We've actually been helped. On top of this, if you keep with any of finance news, esports is definitely a mega trend, right? People are starting to see not only the power of esports to move this entire new generation, but also as a way to get extra revenue from the games industry, which is already massive. And even before the esports industry had this good year, since 2018, esports revenue has been steadily and increasingly getting higher. So obviously in the West, esports is growing, but where's the opportunity, right? Well, there's a lot of things that is missing. Esports and competitive gaming is still relatively new. There's a lack of thought leaders. There's a lack of a credible networking infrastructures. Where are the B2B events? Where are the events that really bring the outside companies looking to get in? And also there's a huge lack of disruptive content. Esports content's pretty much been the same for the past 5 years. However, what we do at Invent Global is completely different. We are a team of veteran content creators who have been in the esports space for decades. On top of that, we have the longest running industry attended B2B events. We have all sorts of events who have now been pivoted to a virtual event. I know some of you have actually been to those, so thanks for coming. And on top of that, we are pioneering an entire new genre of esports content that is designed for the largest broad reach appeal. So what are we? What is Invent Global? Well, simply put, we are a platform that gets 1 million unique users every month. Our social media impressions is huge. We're at 11.1 million monthly users. And if you see here on the left, we are the our parent company, Invent KR, has been in the esports business for 15 years. It is very hard to say that. There is very few companies who have been building esports revenue models and gaining that industry experience. So we're very, very happy to be a part of the Invent platform. And now, as our Western expansion, things have only been going up. Our revenue growth, you can kind of see here just in more concrete numbers. We were founded in 2017, and now we're up to $1.2 million in revenue. But Nick, how do you even make that money? What's going on here? Well, we have 3 main things. One, as esports media experts, we make money through ad revenue, through sponsored content, through promoting things to our hardcore esports audience. Number 2, we are marketing consultants. We do all sorts of target marketing and marketing design for game developers who are either trying to come in from Asia to the West, or trying to capture an esports audience. And on top of that, we are proven event producers. We've been putting on events now in the esports space for the past 3 years, and this virtual pivot has actually been quite easy for our digital audience to get used to. So here's just a sample of how our business model works. The typical process is we find a lead generation either through our platform or through one of our events, and it ends with a profitable contribution to the esports community. That last bit is particularly important because esports consumers are quite critical. It's hard to just enter the space new and expected to make a bump or to be taken seriously. Right now, we're finished with phase 1 of our brand building, of developing these business models here in the West. And now we're on phase 2. It's all about growth. It's all about trying to take advantage of this gaming boom. And honestly, take advantage of our head start. We've already been doing this for a while now. We're asking for $2.6 million. I believe that's at a $13 million pre-money evaluation. That's 20% of the company. With this funds, we're going to scale up all of the things that are already making money. There's quite a 1-to-1 ratio with content creators and ad money. And on top of that, we're going to put a huge sales and marketing push to try to seize the esports audience we've already captured. You can look at some of our revenue projections here. Really, the big goal is by 2022 is our break-even point, and our goal in 2025 is 11 million in revenue. We plan on doing that by expanding the scope of what we're already doing huge. We've already made successful contacts within Ryerson University and Arizona State University. They've already pegged us to make esports programs for them. I'll actually be teaching some esports classes, which I'm excited about. We have an esports data lab with Ryerson that is really, really fantastic. And we have all sorts of sponsored content hubs. We have a disruptive new content plan. I can talk about all this at length when I have more time. The big goals of 2021 is simple. We're going to take our digital events that are already attended, and we're going to up the raise of our sponsorship. So we're going to go over the big companies, the Samsungs, the NVIDIAs, the HyperX. These are the brands that now that there's no in-person events, that E3 is gone, that TwitchCon is gone, they're really looking for these digital events so they can show off their new things. On top of that, we plan on rolling on a new premium subscription model, $4.99 a month, that gets you ad-free viewing on our platform and all sorts of goodies. Even if just 10% of our audience says yes to this offering, we're going to make our goal. The other big part of this expansion.
So Nick, your time is up. You're taking time from Q&A.
Oh, time is up. Okay, then. Yeah. Well, in that case, let's just go to the big thing. Our goal really is practical. If we just capture 1.1% of this $3 billion esports market, we're going to hit our goals. And yeah, our team is fantastic. I'm part of the team. Sorry I went over time, but I would love to answer any questions about esports, about our business and what we're trying to do. Thank you guys so much.
Stephen, how much time do we have left?
4 minutes.
Okay. Well, thank you, Nick. I think the first question we have is from Max.
Yeah, I've got 2 quick questions. Number 1 is, why isn't the CEO presenting? Because we bet on the jockey. And number 2 is, your pre-money valuation sounds really high to me. Is that negotiable?
So I won't speak on behalf of our CEO, but I'll probably say yes. And the reason that our CEO is not speaking is simply because of a language barrier. Our CEO is from South Korea. He's been doing business in South Korea for the past 15 years as a top esports journalist there. So it's much more comfortable for me to be speaking on behalf of him.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Yes.
That's a good answer, Max.
It is. It is.
Okay. If that was it for questions, I think we can go straight to evaluation, but just want to make sure nobody has any additional questions.
All right, cool. Well, guys, thank you so much.
Oh, no, where you go? Wait.
Oh,
Pat.
Oh, Pat.
Hi.
Yeah, my question kind of wrap around that last question, because I also feel that the valuation is high, and I understand esports has all these different market potential that you have, but it also sounds like you've been around for a long time, and I look at the revenue that you generated so far, it doesn't correlate to your market, the valuation that you're asking. And then, so why is it that you're being around for a long time? And I feel like you're like building a spider web. You're reaching out in the esports world, but there's not a whole lot of revenue stream. So what is it that is going to make it that pivot that you think you will be able to meet your projection? And where I have a disconnection somewhere, and I like to have an answer for that.
Well, first of all, Pat, thanks for that question. So just to be clear, InVen KR has been in business for 15 years. InVen Global has only been in business for 4 years. But even so, the rapid arise in which consumers are starting to view esports as something that they will not only pay for, but as something that mainstream audiences are embracing, that is the reason for our aggressive revenue goals. We are already, quite frankly, leaders in the space, and we feel that if we raise the capital now to pour gasoline on that fire, as they say, that we'll be able to really meet these aggressive revenue goals.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like that was it for the questions. Thank you, Nick.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nick, very much. Judges, please fill out the evaluations. We'd appreciate that. The link is in the chat if you need it. Also, it's in your email. Actually, this is a good time for a break. We are at company number 6. So we're going to take a 5-minute break. So we'll be at 16 after the hour. And Zandra, we're going to take over because Mark may have to leave a little bit early. Zandra, can you take over the Q&A section?
Yeah,
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
I'm here till 2. So at 2 o'clock, I'll.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
That's fine.
I'll let Mark take it till 2, and then I'll take over.
All right, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Hey, Max, you wanted me to judge something you're doing? I don't remember the date.
Yeah, I think it's sometime next month. I'll look it up and get
Oh,
back
okay.
to you.
So it is, yeah. So I remember I did something, but it's been a while, so I can't remember when.
Yeah. No, I
Hey, JJ.
understand. You've had a lot going on.
Yeah.
So, JJ, quick question. I'm sorry to bother you, but I tried to click on those links, but it always said I have no permission. But I have an F6S account.
Well, I'll fix it for you. It's just usually I can't fix it in the middle of this. So, I'll try to do it right now.
So you don't like me? Is it why?
No, I love you. It's you probably didn't use it before, and the invitation expired. I don't know what, but
got it.
I'll resend you the invite right now, and then but please keep notes of what you're going to evaluate, so that way it makes it easier to evaluate them. So let me try to fix it for you right now, since we are at a break.
I just resent the invitation, JJ.
To join
To Ray,
this
okay.
venture or to join F6. Okay, this is F6S. Okay.
All right, good. Yeah. So
okay. Thank you.
Did you already which email did you use, Ray? Is it Launchpad K5?
K5, yeah.
Okay. Stephen, did you already had you deleted his access first or no?
Yep, he should have the access now.
Oh, okay. All right. Try it now. Refresh your screen, Ray.
Okay.
Or the browser, and you should be able to click on the links that we sent you in the chat.
Okay.
Or in the email. Let me know if you see. It shouldn't say anymore, no permissions.
Let me try.
Yeah, try it. Let us know so we can, if it doesn't work, we'll fix it again.
I'm sure it's a user problem, not anything else.
Yeah, it's Steven's problem usually.
No.
All right, let me know if that worked for you.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you so much.
It's working? Perfect.
Yeah, it's working.
Steven, this is
thanks much.
That was easy. All right, let's see who we are going to bring next. Next is Rest Assure, Gordon Klein. Gordon, are you here? Raise your hand if you're here. Oh, I see you, Gordon. All right, you don't need to raise your hand because I see you. So. All right, Gordon, you can unmute, share your video, share your screen. And we have Rest Assure in the chat. The link is in the chat.
All right. Can you hear me, please?
We can. All right. Whenever you're ready, you can get started.
And a good afternoon to all. My name is Gordon Klein, Chief Executive Officer of Rest Assured. Long before the pandemic, cleanliness was a critical factor in travelers' decisions as they selected overnight accommodations. In the new post-COVID world, as you might imagine, that concern has increased and increased significantly. By virtue of the increased emphasis on proper hygiene in overnight accommodations, occupancy rates at hotels in the United States have fallen by 40%, as much as 80% in other continents. Airbnbs or vacation rentals have fallen by the midpoint of that, around 2/3. And similarly, rideshare passenger occupancy for both Lyft and Uber domestically have fallen by, again, about a 2/3 factor. So what is the solution to these industries' incredible excess capacity and underutilization problems now? We believe that we have that solution. I'm trying to, my screen is not moving for me. I don't know why it's not moving.
Maybe you want to exit and come back and exit the presentation. Try it again.
I apologize. I'll do a stop share.
Yeah, try it again, and then we'll give you an extra 30 seconds. No problem.
All right. I'm sorry that I'm not. Are you seeing me now?
We can see you, yes.
All right. You know what? Let me do it without the slides. I don't want to detain you any further, although there's something I'm looking to show you.
Take your time.
All right. Let me see if I can. I am trying to get back to Zoom with you on my screen. Unfortunately, I'm not getting back to it.
We can see you and hear you.
You know what? As long as you see me and hear me, why don't we move on? Again, I practiced. I apologize for the, I greatly apologize for the interruption. As I was indicating, with Rest Assured, you've got this excess capacity problem. Industries in need of a solution, we think we've got that solution. Our solution is the Rest Assured Verified Clean Service. What we do is rather unique. We certify that the particular room that you yourself have booked, or the particular ride on a rideshare that you have booked, has been properly cleaned and sanitized at the level that satisfies CDC compliance standards. We like to say that we do it for every room, every ride, every guest, each and every time. How do we exactly accomplish that? Well, we accomplish that with multiple elements. Element number one, my colleague, Dr. Dennis Kim, both a former CDC epidemiologist and medical doctor, has established the protocols that are in full compliance with the CDC and OSHA and global standards. Number two, we then use machine learning, artificial intelligence to monitor the proper cleaning techniques are taking place. And then thirdly, upon rectifying any problems and noting them for the cleaning personnel, once everything is satisfactory, we certify to the property owner, and more importantly, to the incoming guest, that their room has been properly cleaned and satisfied in near real time prior to their check-in. As I said, we're doing this with artificial intelligence. I wish I could show you the demonstration. That will be available momentarily for those who wish to see it. But for the moment, let me suggest to you that we accomplish it on a highly automated basis. By virtue of accomplishing it on an automated basis, we are able to perform our service with a global reach and at a very low cost. Unlike competitors that require on-site inspection and only do it for the entire facility, we do it, as we said, every room, every ride. Will this business remain solvent and successful long-term? Well, first of all, cleanliness has always been important. Secondly, McKinsey & Company recently indicated that they believe, unfortunately, we're living in a new normal, and that new normal may well exist for the next 7 years. And we believe that over that time, we will have a successful business and we will continue to thrive, given the importance that guests have always attributed to the cleanliness process. We have various sustainable competitive advantages, we believe. We have retained patent counsel who's pursuing patent protection. Additionally, we have a cost advantage over everyone else that is really quite dramatic. Additionally, we hope to line up strategic partnerships with online travel facilitators and get our brand name out there, where we will be the preeminent first mover in the certification of these various activities. From a financial standpoint, our profit margins also and our contribution to EBITDA is quite substantial. Our cost to a hotel is $4 per stay day. To a vacation rental, a market with absolutely no cleanliness standards, it is $6 per stay day. And our fee to the rideshare industry is 20 cents per ride. And we believe that with the use of our automation, that our costs will be running us no more than about 10%, yielding a gross profit margin of right around 90% contribution to EBITDA and gross profit. With that, I will leave it to your questions.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Christopher, I've got you up first.
So really quick, right? Aside from the first mover advantage you mentioned, can you kind of describe your competitive edge? And it does seem like there's pretty low barrier to entry in this particular business model. Maybe I'm not understanding correctly. And if AI, artificial intelligence is your competitive edge, do you mind to elaborate a bit more on that technology? Thank you.
Yes, we believe that we have an AI advantage, that there's a significant lead time in the development of it. We believe that we're using a suite of technologies that involve image capture, image transmission, image analysis, certification, apps that will be at the customer level, the property owner level, the cleaner level, all of which take significant development time, and we've got that advantage. We believe that we will be branded and look to establish relationships with strategic partnerships in the online travel industry, as well as to the extent that we are fortunate enough to cement a relationship with any rideshare firm. Obviously, in the United States, that's a duopoly, but globally, there's about a dozen major rideshare firms, and a very large number of taxi cab companies. We believe that our brand will become quite well known. Our technology will be quite advanced, and we will have a significant lead. In addition, Patent Counsel has suggested to us they believe there's a high probability that our suite of technologies combined together is indeed patentable.
Okay, great. Thank you. Scott, you're next.
Hi, Gordon. Thanks for your presentation. I think this is very interesting. You got a little shortchanged there, obviously, by the tech. Can you just take a quick second without the pictures and describe just what it is you do? Like this is a camera. I mean, just in simple terms, right? Just describe what we missed.
Sure,
absolutely. Camera takes a picture, what happens, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah, well, what we basically do is, number one, cleaning personnel are outfitted, in the case of hotels or vacation rentals, with the equivalent of a wearable GoPro. We have some special features to it, but think of it as a headband wearable GoPro. We observe their cleaning process. We feed them the cleaning activities that they need to engage in. Those images are captured. We review them on an automated basis that they're performed in a satisfactory way. Our server captures those images, then proceeds to essentially change the box not done to done, check it off. The cleaning personnel then move onward. We verify throughout the process, not only the cleaning personnel do the right thing, but they're using the proper PPE in terms of wearing a mask and gloves, and they're using the proper disinfectants that are CDC and EPA appropriate for proper cleaning. On our server, or the AWS server, we perform the analysis that everything was done. We give feedback to the cleaning personnel as need be to rectify things, and then we send off the certification in near real time to the upcoming guest.
Great, thank you. That helps a lot. And then a quick follow-up. You mentioned $4 per stay day and $6 per stay day, depending on the market. Have you gotten any feedback from potential customers or even real customers on those numbers?
We have had some feedback at this point. We have a team right now of the UCLA Anderson MBAs that are performing primary research. That is our tentative price at this point. Keeping in mind, in the Airbnb or vacation rental market, it is common that there's a lump sum upfront, one time only for cleaning, and then a daily fee. So people are already accustomed on the consumer end to paying a pass-through. What we think we can show in terms of demonstrated increase in occupancy of these facilities, where of course a typical full home rental might be $200. We're targeting the luxury end of the hotel market. Let's call that $250 and up. The delta that they generate in terms of increased contribution margin far exceeds the fee that we're contemplating. If we find price resistance, we will of course be malleable. Given our low cost structure, we're able to show that flexibility.
Thank you. Back to you, Mark.
Okay, great. Well, Max.
Yeah, Mark, unless I missed it, I don't know who you are. I didn't hear you say anything about yourself. You know, as an investor and someone in the people business, we bet on the jockey, number one. And number two, can you talk about the deal? Maybe I missed that, how much you're raising and what the deal is for investors.
Absolutely, absolutely. First of all, my name is Gordon Klein. I am educated as an attorney, as a CPA. I'm a frequent expert witness in big business forecasting. I have worked on a number of matters as a consultant currently to Spotify and Apple in the online music industry. I've been a faculty member both at UCLA School of Law and UCLA's Anderson School of Management, their MBA program, where I've taught many courses in financial analysis and entrepreneurship. In terms of what we are looking at, we have a pre-market cap of $5 million, and we're looking to raise $2 million, most of which will go into progressing technology development, as well as establishing our brand. We believe there's a significant first mover importance here. And our goal is, again, to cement that first mover through establishing our brand as preeminent in the public's mind.
Thank you.
Okay, Pat, you're next.
Mark, the time is up.
Okay. All right, Pat, you want to get your question in while people are filling out their evaluations?
Yeah, I was visualizing the AI more like, you know, after the cleaning is done, the room goes dark and you have some sort of geothermal device that can detect the germ. Because when it comes to cleanliness, when I check in the hotel nowadays, they tape the door. And so if it's clean, it's taped. If it's, and then you break the seal. So can you tell me why is it that the thriving economy, thriving economy would the hotel would want to pay when they already have just break the door seal, the toilet paper is folded, and you already know that's somebody didn't use it before you. So my point is, can you give me an idea like what your AI does, and other than the regular cleaning, is there something above and beyond that you're doing that the hotel isn't doing, and so that they're willing to pay that $4 to $6 that you were referring to?
Well, first of all, in the vacation rental market, there are no cleaning protocols. In the rideshare market, there are no cleaning protocols. In the hotel market, many people believe that what Hilton, Marriott, and their brethren have done is lip service, where there's significant non-compliance. Even to the extent the cleaning does take place, there's no assurance in the eyes of and viewpoint of many customers that was done properly. That there's a lot of window dressing. Yes, Hilton, among others, will put that seal on the hotel door, but you don't know what was taking place or transparent at the time. It's clear from a McKinsey company study, among others, that people want proof of proper cleaning as opposed to simply potentially empty platitudes. Our goal, however, is not to target primarily the branded markets such as the Marriotts of the world, but we're looking at unbranded properties where there are no published protocols. We're looking at regions of the world where the public perception is that cleanliness and hygiene standards and public health regulations are lax. And so the last group we would be going to would be branded hotels in the United States. We're targeting again, resorts, luxury properties around the world where there's serious concerns.
Thank you for the answer.
Yeah, thank you, Gordon. Well done, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Apologies for the technology.
JJ, you're on mute.
Still on mute, JJ.
Thank you. Yeah, please evaluate. We'll bring the next company. The company is Sansar. Stephen, please put the link in the chat, and he just did. All right. Is Ross there? Raise your hand. I see you, Ross. Okay, so Ross, whenever you're ready, please share your screen, unmute, and show your video. Can't hear you. You're muted. Still muted. There you go.
Now.
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, let me start my video here. Share the screens. And my desktop too. Okay, can you all see that now?
We don't see anything. We see you, but we don't see the shared screen. So if you're inside Zoom, hover over the screen and go all the way to the bottom and click on share screen in green. There you go. Now we see.
You can see that now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. If you hold on just a quick second, let me put a headset on here because I'm having trouble hearing you. Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. And you can see the screen?
And we can see the screen.
Okay, terrific. All right, so I am going to introduce to you today what I think you will agree is the most exciting and dynamic product that you are going to see today. My name is Ross Metter. I am the General Counsel and
director of Wookiee Technologies Corporation. Our president couldn't be here today, but I look forward to introducing her to you in the next round. Wookiee Technologies owns a product called Sansar, which is a virtual reality platform. So what is Sansar? It is the most feature-rich interactive virtual reality platform in existence today. It was built by Linden Labs, who you may know was the builder of Second Life, which was the original and largest, most successful virtual reality platform built in around 2003. Sansar was a labor of love for the folks at Linden. They decided they wanted to build a new version, essentially, that would solve all the problems that they had come up against with Second Life, greatly expanding the number of users that could be brought into the platform and greatly expanding its applicability, greatly increasing the visual techniques that are available and making it work with a lot of different kinds of users. As it turned out, Linden spent $80 million over the course of 5 years building the Sansar platform. But as luck would have it, Linden went up for sale, and as part of that sale, they spun off Sansar. So Wookiee Technologies was able to buy the company. Wookiee Technologies had been a private client of mine, but I was so excited by the product that I decided to join the company full-time when it was acquired. We've only had it for about 6 months. The deal first closed in March, but we really haven't been doing, we started really rolling it out in April and May. So we have the excitement of a brand new startup with the traction and stability of a well-established product. So what does Sansar have now? There are what we refer to as worlds, spaces that you can visit within the platform. We currently have about 3,500 different worlds available today. Most of them are created by the users, but some of them are also created by us, by our Sansar Studios team. Some of these, there's a wide variety of different kinds of worlds that are available right now. Here's an example of an esports event. Here is an example that was taken from Intel hired us to create their CES exhibit. And as part of that, we actually built an Intel chip that your avatar can go inside of and explore the inside of that chip and see what different kinds of things that are in there. We've done a number of other past events for large companies, but in addition to Intel, we did built a world for Levi's and Sanrio, the owners of Hello Kitty. We just recently completed a conference for Siemens, which included a large venue, exhibition venue, and a number of exhibits. We did an event for the Smithsonian where we recreated a large number of Smithsonian events, and we recently completed an event for Burning Man. Those are the corporate events that we've been working on most recently. But what is most interesting for us, I think, is, and our focus now is on live music events. Why music? We think that music is really the best product market fit for us, and there's an enormous demand for musical events online. In particular, with COVID, all of the live musical event venues are shut down. We see our platform as being a venue rather than us being the producer. Producers come to us and host their events on our platform. What we offer for the fans are beautiful avatars that you go in, you create your avatar, choose your clothing and accessory items for your avatar, go into the event. Once you're inside there, there's location-aware video so that you can communicate with other people. You can physically manipulate objects and with all kinds of dance moves. As far as our revenue is concerned, for the promoter, which is our real focus, where there's tickets, commerce, sponsorships, and tipping, our revenue streams come from the venue creation fee and a share of all of the revenue that's earned by the producers. With a huge market potential, we're talking about all of the live music and events that is enormous for us. There's a number of competitors, but it's important to recognize that this is what our visuals look like. This is what their visuals look like. There's more to go. We have an enormously successful show for Glastonbury where we had 4.5 million viewers, a terrific team. Our income looks quite strong. In our first 6 months of this year, we'll make over $1 million. And we think that we're a good target to be acquired by a number of different other companies. We're trying right now to raise $8 million, which will take us to profitability. And I'll turn it over to questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Ken, got you up there first.
Yes, thank you. Pull it up real quick. I just written down. So what is the I saw obviously in one of the pictures that you guys were using headsets. Is that the only platform that you guys are delivering on right now? Or are you also have a mobile solution?
I'm so glad you asked that question. So the product is beautiful on a flat screen. It's spectacular with a headset. But it is also true that we have a mobile solution so that you can watch the event on your phone. And we also have a web-based event so that, or application so that you can watch it on any type of computer using the web application. But if you want to actually become an avatar and go into the world, as you can see in the event behind me here, then you need to have a PC and you may do it with a headset.
Thanks. And then I know we're only supposed to ask one, but if you could quickly touch on just the rest of the team, because I noticed that you're not on the listed as the leadership team. Just wanted to learn a little bit more about who's.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I had to rush through everything so quickly. So when Wookiee Technologies acquired Sansar, we brought with us from Linden the top folks there that had been working on it. The president is Sherry Bryant. She has a long career in the movie industry in Los Angeles and has been with Linden for quite some time. The other team members there have illustrious backgrounds. Our director of product was with senior executive at EA. The director of our studios has worked with Steven Spielberg and did a lot of work on the Ready Player One movie, as well as a number of other kinds of events. For me, I graduated from Berkeley Law. I was a partner at K&L Gates. I was one of the primary counsel for Facebook in the 2000s. I've taught entrepreneurship at the Haas Business School at Berkeley and worked with a lot of different early stage companies.
Thanks. Hey, Howard, we have you up next.
Yes, thank you. Here, I'll start the camera going so that. Hi.
Hi, Howard.
Interesting presentation. What do you know, or can you say whether the new owner of Linden's is still operating Second Life? And if they are, do they have any intention of possibly becoming your customer? And if so,
So my understanding, I don't know the full details about what is going on with them now. My understanding is that the new owner of Linden is still operating Second Life, and that they also operate another company called Tilia, which is a financial services company. But I don't see them as being a customer of ours. We are really have a different target market and a different application than Second Life. So they are, they're doing their thing and we're doing our thing. Very, we're very friendly, very compatible, but I don't see us as competitors or customers of each other.
Thank you.
Okay, Benton, you're next.
Hey, Ross, it's an interesting challenge. I'm a big live music fan. I'm surprised you don't have anyone on the team with actual concert promotion experience. Are you targeting talent from Live Nation or someone along that? And also, it seems like it was a bit of a fire sale on the technology that Wookiee was able to acquire. Can you talk about the terms of that deal?
Yeah, so those are two questions. One, we were very lucky to be able to acquire the technology for pennies on the dollar compared to what it was that they have invested into it. As I mentioned, they put $80 million into it and never really rolled it out as much of a product, although it was in early beta when we acquired it. I think that there were a lot of reasons they wanted to. It had a high burn rate and they weren't profitable as yet, and so I think that they felt like What we offered was to keep the team together and keep the vision of the company. And I think that they liked that aspect of us coming in. I don't know all the details about why we got such a good deal on it, but we're glad we did. And as far as people that are involved in the music industry, we do have people involved in the music industry, but we're doing deals now with some of the things that we have in our pipeline I didn't get a chance to mention, but in addition to the Glastonbury, which is the largest festival in Europe that we did, they have signed up for a 3-year deal with 18 events planned for this year. That was streamed through Beatport. Beatport found that we were the most engaged viewers of any event that they'd ever hosted in the past. We're doing 8 shows for Live by Live. We're doing Splendor in the Grass, which is the largest Australian music festival. That's a 3-year deal. They're paying us $400,000 to build their initial worlds for them. We are doing the ADE Amsterdam Dance event, which is the largest EDM promoter in Europe. We're doing a streaming deal with Twitch right now. We're in touch with Amazon Music, doing a live streaming deal with them. We're in negotiations with Amazon, with Universal and Warner Music companies, and we're close to an LOI with Universal. We're doing LWE, which is London's biggest underground event organizer that's affiliated with Red Bull. This morning, we were on the phone with Red Bull about them sponsoring events for us. We're also on the phone today with folks that run the New Year's Eve event that may well be put on our platform. We've got 30 Halloween shows lined up. So there's a lot going on for us, and we do have, where there's about 35 people that work for us, and many of them in our marketing department have a lot of music experience. But our business model is that we are the platform, not the promoter. So the promoters come to us, they bring the acts, they bring the talent, they do the promotion. We are the technology that allows them to be able to present.
Can you tell us how many pennies on the dollar you paid for the technology?
Oh, the exact number is confidential, but it was a very good deal.
All right, so we need more diligence to get that.
Okay, if we still have time, Pat, I have you now.
The time is up.
Oh, okay.
I'll make it quick. My question is just that, so the technology you acquired, did you have any patent on it, or do you plan to file a patent? And also on your $8 million raise, what is your valuation cap?
We have 12 issued patents on the technology, on all aspects of the platform and the avatars and the way the avatars dress. One interesting thing, if you have an avatar and you have clothes, we have thousands of clothing items available on our platform. You buy clothes, you want to put it on your avatar. The avatars are all different sizes. So we have patents on the technology to be able to make the clothes fit the avatar and still flow in the wind and that sort of thing. Our valuation, the money that we have raised thus far, we've raised about $5.5 million thus far, has all been at about a $15 to $20 million valuation. For this next round, we're hoping to bump that up to about a $40 million valuation, pre-money valuation.
Thank you.
Great.
All right, well, thank you very much, Ross. All right, we please put your evaluate the company using the link that we had in the chat, and we'll bring in the next company.
Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah,
look forward to seeing you all in the next round.
Okay, all right, so let me bring in the next company, sorry. And that is Speckle. Augustine, are you ready? There you go.
Okay.
Augustine, is Avi coming with you?
Yes, he should be here. Abby, can you
All right.
raise your hand, please?
He did, he did.
Perfect, awesome. Okay, and start video. Percents. Okay, perfect. All right, hello everyone. My name is Augustine Richardson. I'm the co-founder and CMO of Speckle. Now, let me tell you before we get started, I've had many class presentations, job interviews, a few business pitches just like this one. And every time I get to do one, I get nervous, I feel butterflies in my stomach, and I start sweating. However, I am not alone. I'm not alone. Research shows that 74% of Americans have a fear of public speaking. Our own research in universities show that 83% of students have a fear of public speaking. The bottom line is that a vast majority need to improve their speaking skills, and many desire to do so, but there is no effective service that provides all the tools necessary incorporated into one. Enter Speckle, a speaking platform that will empower people by helping them improve their speaking skills and overall communication abilities through our mobile app anytime and anywhere. Our effective learning cycle is made up of 4 main functions. You can see them right there on the screen. Prepare, number 1. Number 2, learn. Number 3, practice. And number 4, communicate. Prepare is the self-evaluation phase, and users set their goals. Learn will help users gain knowledge and through article and video feedback. The practice phase consists of vocal training and video recording. Finally, and one of our key differentiators, the communicate phase. This is where users get both machine and human feedback through our community function. The community function is where users will be able to connect with others and share feedback and also maintain their motivation. Our total addressable market is 769 million globally. We calculated this by taking 10% of the total global population that shows a demand for public speaking. Our service available market has 349 million people that use smartphones and live in the broadband network. Our service obtainable market has 76 million, and these are people who have English or Spanish as a native language. We will target this obtainable market in the first 5 years. Our target customers are students and business professionals. Now, let me talk about our go-to-market strategy. This is a hybrid of a B2B and a B2C. Our market will begin in California and expand through the US. To get our initial users, we will utilize a networking strategy through built-in communities, such as business schools, student organizations, and other groups on University of California campuses, starting with UC Irvine. Our competitive landscape is divided into 4 parts. First, as you can see them right there on the left, are direct competitors, Speako and Ori. Though they are convenient, they don't provide knowledge, deep feedback, and the community features that Speckle does. Second, though private lessons have advantages in practice and feedback, they cost a significant sum of money, and it's not very accessible for a lot of people. Third, self-learning can be cheap, but it is difficult for many people to keep their motivation and improve as there is no feedback provided. Finally, Toastmasters. It is effective, but it has been around for about 100 years and has not evolved for the 21st century. You have to be there on a specific day at a certain time whenever they tell you, and that is not convenient for people. One of the key factors of Speckle is that it is very convenient. Now, our monetization plan. Our revenue mainly comes from advertising and subscription revenue. Subscription revenue will grow constantly after our content and value to the community has been built. Advertising revenue will be affected by the economical environment and value of our community. Because as our users grow, we can analyze our customer behavior and attract more and more advertisers. In 2025, we predict that 41% of revenue will come from advertising and 54% from subscription revenue. In terms of cost, our main expenditure is developing the app, which includes payroll for developers, marketers, and customer support employees. Our EBITDA will be positive in 2023. Our team has the talents and passion needed to build this service. Each member has expertise in the proper area, including design, finance, engineering, business, and marketing.
Seconds.
Thank you. In conclusion, Speckle has an effective learning cycle that is integrated into a mobile app, and the community it hosts will attract many users and serve as a ripple effect to join it. Speckle will guide people to improve their speaking skills and tackle the fear of public speaking. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much. Just looking to see if we've got any questions coming up yet. Pat?
Since no one asked, I'll start.
Go ahead.
So one of the biggest hurdle, in my opinion, for public speaking is the fear, the psychological factor. So how do you overcome that?
Well, there are a lot of ways to overcome fear, right? that is one of the main factors that, based on the interviews that we had with a lot of people and the surveys that we've done, that is actually one of the main problems, the fear that people have. So the way that you combat this problem is through practicing, but actually the best way to do it is by actually having the knowledge and having the techniques to actually do a speech in front of people. So I would say practicing, and that is a big component of our app. So we take them through this effective learning cycle, and this effective learning cycle is supposed to challenge that fear of public speaking, or tackle the fear of public speaking with a lot of people.
And just to actually add on to that, Pat, it's just like you said, the fear is a huge hurdle. Actually, in America, the fear of public speaking is greater than the fear of death. So another way that, besides what Agustin said with our integrated learning cycle, our community feature, we believe will help users really circumvent that fear. Because we mentioned Toastmasters, one of the things that make Toastmasters so notable is its own community function. It has so many members because people feel that they're supported by others who are in the same situation, the same skill set as they are. So we believe that with our virtual community, we can tap into that same, I guess, sort of practice in order to help users overcome their fear.
Thank you for your answer. I would just give you a couple feedback as you were talking, because I was wondering, are you planning to use something like an AI mechanism or machine learning? Because I was thinking like everyone would be comfortable talking to Alexa. Maybe Alexa will be a good practicing tool. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, we do have. Oh, was that a question or was that just feedback?
It was just a comment. I mean, I know
Okay.
you have other question coming. Thanks.
Okay, yes.
Okay, Chris, you're up next.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. Do you mind to elaborate a bit more on your professional feedback and how it's being done? What's your cost model and how you plan on scaling the business model? Thank you.
Yeah, so our professional feedback is one of our other revenues. I think more importantly, our freemium model will bring in about 60% of the revenue. Our subscription revenue will bring in about 30% of the revenue. And our professional feedback will be made up of professional speakers that we will have in our network, working with Speckle, qualified by Speckle. And people will be able to set up seminars or workshops with those people as like one-on-one, or it can be a seminar workshop with a few other people. So depending on how that works, that will vary on the price. Yes, Abby, would you like to add anything else to that?
Yeah, sure. So it's like Agustin said, professional feedback, it's going to be comprised of professional speakers within our network. That's actually, one of the terms of the deal for investment in our company. It's to reach out and gain a network of certified public speaking professionals and coaches. And actually, we already have a good start with that. Our advisor is actually Jason Oden. He is actually a public speaking coach. And so he is able to, kind of provide that sort of professional feedback. But obviously we need more than just one. He's just one man. So we're hoping that with our investment fund, we'll be able to invest in more sources of professional feedback.
Have you looked at the cost structure yet in terms of like the cost to acquire a professional speaker and have them join your network?
We have not done that yet. We have reached out to a few professional public speakers to gain some content and to interview them and do a little bit more research. But we're planning on getting an advisor, a professional public speaker, to be one of our advisors, give him some equity, a little bit of equity from the company, so that he can guide us through the path and open up the door to more professional public speakers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Augustine, I'm curious, the point I think Pat made of the fact people are more comfortable speaking to a monitor or Alexa. If you're trying to improve your speaking ability, I could see how it could be incredibly effective, but how do you help people overcome a fear when they're talking to something they're not scared of instead of getting in front of the large audience? How do you give them that opportunity, or do you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, and we believe that like I totally agree with you. Through the app, they are only gonna be able to gain so much. So that is the reason why we're also gonna have events, competitions, and more offline. Yeah, we can call them events, and that the reason for that is because there are things that the app can do, but it cannot do everything, right? So you need both the digital, because it's gonna be easy and it's gonna be convenient for people, and they're gonna be able to join that community, but also offline, because they're going to be able to really practice with other humans through an event and through competitions.
Yeah, thanks for the explanation. It's a little like teaching someone to swim with an app and then throwing them in the pool, you know.
Yeah, and depending, we're planning to have maybe events once a month, twice a month. That's going to depend on how many users we can attract and in how much time. But we're going to start mainly with the app, and then go from there, go from online and maybe go offline from there.
All right, do we still have time, Stephen?
Oh no, the time is up, JJ.
Time is up. Sorry, Chris. you get to ask your question, Chris. Sorry, go for it.
I thought I already asked my question. I think as to how.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't lower the hand, so
with
my fault.
No,
Okay, thanks, Chris. All right, thank you very much, Augustine and Avi.
Thank you. Take it easy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Judges, please evaluate.
And I see Mark, did Mark leave us?
I don't know yet. Let me see.
Okay, let me see. Just want to make
Mark
sure.
has left.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. All right. Next in line is Trade Stars with Gaston. All right, here we go. Okay, Gaston, whenever you're ready, you can unmute, start your video, and share your screen.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen right now?
We don't see your screen.
Oh, so my bad.
Looking better now. There you go.
Okay. Okay, everyone. So thank you very much for your time. My name is Gaston. I am from Argentina, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Trade Stars. And we are on the fantasy sports space. And what we built is a stock market where users can trade stocks that represent real athletes. And that's why we like to say we're creating the NASDAQ of sports. Next. So, as mentioned, yes, we are on the fantasy sports space. We created a stock market where users can invest real money into their favorite players. This is, for example, an example in India where we launched our product. For example, we can see the stock of this player. It's called Virat Kohli, and how the price of the stock goes up and down. It's like trading a stock of Apple or Amazon, but instead of buying a company, you can buy into a player. How we evaluate the player, the stock, if it goes up and down, it's completely on, it's not an opinion. It's completely on, we measure data. Okay, we measure about 30 variables per player, like every other fantasy sport platform in the world. You probably know DraftKings or FanDuel or Dream 11 in India. And these stats, which we purchase from the third providers, gives us an average punctuation of the player, and if the player performs very well, its stocks goes up, and vice versa. So we incentivize users to use their knowledge and invest in their sport knowledge, and will make money out of it. This concept is not new. It has already been validated for the European soccer in UK. There's a company called Football Index, which launched around 6 years ago, and they really did really well. They have a current valuation of more than 250 million pounds, and they do more than 10 million pounds on average daily volume of trades. So for us, it's very important that there's a model that has already replicated this in our market. It's only for football and only for UK. Our vision is to do this for dozens of sports all around the world, and not only like football, basketball, European football, cricket, rugby, tennis, etc. And not only for sports, but also for esports. We think there's an amazing opportunity to tokenize esports stars. In fact, we're already talking to a lot of teams from the esports world, which are very interested in joining our platform as verified profiles. So we're very excited on that. We decided to launch in India on February this year. India has the second sport in the world, or let's say cricket is the second sport in the world, and it's mostly held in India. And we're talking for more than 1 billion fans. And we did a pre-launch in January where we reached around 22,000 registers. It was completely organic. And we had more than 45,000 users on social media. We had to stop through COVID, but luckily for us, COVID is over. Not COVID is over, but cricket is back. So we are in about 10 days to relaunch our operation in India. So we expect to reach around 100,000 users by the end of this year and 1 million by Q2 2021. We are going to start growing very, very fast in the next coming weeks. And the idea is that the next year we start also with soccer and with esports. Our idea is that we want to leverage on fantasy platforms outside the US and Europe. We see that these markets are very overcrowded. They have very big competitors, but we think there's an amazing opportunity to do this on Southeast Asia, on India, on the MENA markets, and also in Latin America, where we are from. Our business model is very straightforward. We just charge a transaction fee every time there's a trade it's like we're a stock market. And something important is that we implemented our whole operation on a blockchain. We use Ethereum blockchain, which gives us a lot of capabilities and advantages versus other platforms. For example, we don't have the custody of users' funds; they're all managed by a blockchain. And they're all the economic incentives are completely based on smart contracts. But very important, it does not affect the user's performance. For our users, like playing FIFA or any other game. We have been entrepreneurs for more than 10 years. We have already 2 exits on our background. We did companies in Argentina and Brazil. In fact, we had also a company in India that had more than 50 million users and more than $2 million annual revenue. We have an amazing board of investors advisors, completely international. For example, Larry Larreta, who is the CEO and founder of NXT Labs, one of the biggest acceleration programs of Latin America. And recently we raised 100K from Expert Dojo, which is an accelerator from California. We are on our seed raise of $1 million. We raised 100,000K. Since we started, we raised 200K, now 100 from the seed, and we're looking for 900,000 more in this round. That's pretty much it. We are very excited to relaunch the platform. We think we're gonna get millions of users. People get very, very motivated when they think they can trade and invest in their favorite athletes. And that's basically it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gaston, for the presentation. We're going to start with questions. Howard?
Hi.
Howard, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Gaston. I want to ask you what level of government regulation, I assume this is real money, right? So
Yes.
What level of government regulation did you have to go through in India to get permission to start this? And second, how much have you looked into things like SEC regulations and so forth that might apply to what you're doing here in the United States?
Sure. Well, the answer for that is we are a fantasy platform. Okay, fantasy are considered games of skill and not of chance. Okay, for games of chance you need gambling licenses. Gambling in India is prohibited. You cannot get, there are no casinos, nor online nor physical. Now, India has one of the biggest fantasy company in the world. That's called Dream 11. They did last month a raise of $100 million. Or I think more, like $200 million at around 2 billion valuation. And the Supreme Court of India has stated the game is legal. So basically, you're using your knowledge in order to invest real money. So we don't need a gambling license to operate. In the USA, fantasy is legislated differently in different states. Okay. There are around 10 states where it's prohibited. Where, in fact, DraftKings cannot has no operation. And in other, you have licenses that go from 10K per year and to 200K per year. It depends on the state. But there are more than 20 licenses that are less than 10K per year. I think that your question appoints because someday we would like to go to the USA, and of course the answer is yes. And we did already this research because a lot of investors has asked for us. So the US is possible, yes. Now it's very expensive for us. You know, we will have to invest more than 200K or 300K just in licenses. For us right now it's very expensive, but for sure it's something we have in our mind.
Thank you, Gaston. I think that's it for questions. Any more questions? Well, wonderful. Thank you.
Follow up,
okay.
If I could.
Yes.
As long as
go ahead, Aaron.
nobody's waiting. What have you got in terms of data streams or data sources that your users are able to access through your platform on statistical performance of the athletes?
Well,
both projected, both historical and projected. And what types of analytics are you making available to the analytical tools are you making available to your users so that they can do, various price to value analytics?
Yeah. I get your question. I love your question, to be honest. There's a lot to do in that space on that product. And yes, in fact, we talked with some guys that do, there are companies that what they do is that they measure the variables and they sell us to us. Okay. For example, the most famous one is called Okta. Maybe you probably know it. And there's a bunch more in different sports. And our idea is to have a business intelligence department that gives users the tools to make projections of how a variable or a player is going to perform regarding how it comes performing in the last month, the type of matches it's going to play in the future. And there's a lot of more things to do in that. In fact, we talked with a local company here from Argentina that we were analyzing of tracking certain metrics and having like sort of indicators of like a trace stars indicator per player. And so yes, in that space there's a lot to do. We are a startup, we're just starting, but for sure that's something we want to work on a lot in the future.
Okay, any more questions? Yes, Pat. Pat has a question. Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, since you try to reference it to the NASDAQ, usually a company have assets, and so can you give me just a little bit of correlation? So what happens when a player is injured, and is this a seasonal thing? Because in sports you have rotational player and you're betting on the player and you have injuries. So can you give me a insight to how that works?
Well, and I think that's one of the coolest things, because in daily fantasy platforms, like for example DraftKings, You have to wait until, you know, the match occurs in order to see how the player performs. But this is like a 24/7 market, you know. So there might be an injury on a training, there might be some news that the player is going to be transferred. There's a lot of things that can affect and speculate on the price of the player. So it's an open market, and the variable of the price gets affected by the performance of the player and also by the market demand. So I don't know, maybe I would say anything. There's news that LeBron James can be transferred, I don't know, from Lakers to Miami, let's say. Maybe there's a lot of users that will buy that stock. So maybe with only the news, the price will go up. It's like a stock market, you know, maybe similar to if there's an expectation that the quarter of Amazon is going to be amazing, maybe the price is going to go up, and then when they do the release, maybe it's not as good as back and it goes down. You know, it's an open market.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Gaston. Do we have time for more questions? I think we're good though. I think that was it. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Gaston. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you
very much, guys. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Okay, so please evaluate TradeStars, and we will put the next company's link in the chat. And now we have Trubify, and here is Stephen. Brian, you want to come along, Stephen, as well? Okay, there we go.
Hello, everyone. Yes, if we could invite Brian, that'd be fantastic.
No, he's out. Yeah, no, I brought him in. No. All right.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys all so much. And by the way, JJ, this is a really well-produced event for an online event of this size with this many participants. Thank you so much. Fantastic.
Thank you.
And let me go ahead and share my screen if I can. And please let me know if you guys can see my screen okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. And whenever you guys are ready, I'll go ahead and jump in if it's good for you.
Yeah, get started.
Great, awesome. Thank you guys so much. My name is Stephen Tishka, CEO and founder of Trubify, an award-winning disruptive music technology platform. I've been a musician my whole life. My aunt was a Snow White. I moved to Hollywood in 1996 as a guitarist, ended up becoming a Motown recording artist, had a music studio on Sunset, was performing nightly, sometimes with celebrities, have about 1,000 song credits to my name, and I was still a starving artist. Started pursuing my second love, technology development, and founded several innovative companies over the years in fintech, ad tech, and micro-influencer space. Most notable being Blast.com with Walter Cruttenden and Music.com with Pharrell Williams. So the problem is most music artists cannot earn a living making music. Here's Troy Ritchie from The Voice. And last month, Troy made $14 working multiple platforms. And this represents our target customer, which is the active mid-tier working artist with a large established following. But on Trubify, a single platform, he would have made over $6,000. Trubify does this because we've developed a live streaming music app that manages the business demands for the artist in the background of their life. We do that by innovative revenue streams that are built into deep fan engagement features. Our per-view payouts, tips, tickets, patronage, influencer marketing, and merchandise components. And this is an a la carte feature offering. Artists can pick and choose those features that resonate best with their genre and their fan base. So we have two sides of revenue: fan-generated revenue, which we split with the artist 70-30, and brand-generated revenue, including our Google AdSense integration, which is 100% direct pass-through, and our unique proprietary influencer marketing component, which we'll get into. Is there a willingness to spend here? Absolutely. Fans donated over $2 billion on Patreon alone, and brands spent an additional $8 billion on influencer marketing last year, a number growing 40% year over year. $24 billion more dollars were spent on Google AdSense, which we've integrated into Trubify. We're playing in super huge markets. As you guys know, the music industry is huge, growing double digits. Live music has been severely impacted while live streaming is growing exponentially. Huge opportunity here. We're going to capture our share. Less than 0.1% makes us extremely successful. Our go-to-market strategy is simple and robust. We're currently onboarding 150 mid-tier working artists who collectively have 170 million fans. And these artists are incentivized to convert their existing fans into Trubify users because their income scales accordingly. Even using a couple percent conservatively, we'll have millions of fans on the platform within a year. So we've hired artist relations director Ryan Sully-Sullivan, professional artist relations guy. He's already signed 42 exclusive top-tier artist contracts and 18 celebrities, including the Wailers, Bob Marley's legendary band. Collectively, they have 68 million followers alone. And we have a bottom-up approach as well, which is led by Sami Khan, our growth expert, who's from Honey and Acorns. We have over 2,000 mid-tier artists who have already filled out applications to stream live on Trubify, with over 500 beta users live. We have multiple brand commitments already for some of the biggest brands in music, and we're about to lock in deals with some of the other bigs, GoPro, Roland, Fender, and others. We have very high retention anticipations due to the extreme loyalty that organically exists between fans and artists. As you guys know, you're still listening to the same bands that you were years ago. And of course, fans follow more than one artist. So there's always a reason to stay on Trubify. We have all the features our competitors have, but we have several unique differentiators, including our end-to-end concierge service. We obtain all cover song licenses and manage the royalty payments for the artist. We have the highest industry payouts, which are sustainably fundable thanks to our ad tech. We've created a red carpet Trubify fan engagement experience, and our influencer marketing innovation is really intriguing to the brands. So this is proven automated technology that I developed in the last company that I co-founded with Paul Sams, former COO of Blizzard Activision Entertainment. We can scrape the screen. We can see brands, products, and logos. We apply the proprietary Trubify patentable algorithm, tying the viewership data demographics to the engagement data, validating these campaigns at scale using the business intelligence to drive the ROI, VOI for the brands. The technology is commercially available on iOS and on Android, and the product shots that you see throughout the deck are actual shots of the live product today. We have 3 patents in process being overseen and managed by Wilson Sonsini. 9 more have been identified. We have beautiful unit economics, which back out driving our user and revenue growth beautifully over the next several years. We're seeking 3.8 million in seed funding. Almost $1 million of that has already been subscribed and funded. Majority of the funds are being used to go to market, which we're ready to go. We have several feature enhancements rolling out over the next few quarters, and we've teed this thing up for an acquisition by one of the bigs who are currently actively seeking to expand their music offerings. Our founding and management team are serial entrepreneurs and innovators in this space. Our engineering team wins awards year after year. Our all-star advisory board is unfairly stacked with industry experts from every area that we touch. 5 reasons to invest in Trubify. 1, we were the People's Choice Award winner at the Tech Innovation Forum this year. Outstanding LTV to CAC, putting us right in the sweet spot. Our robust growth strategy guarantees network high retention. We're solving real problems for the artists, the industry, and the fans, and we anticipate being cash flow positive in Q3 of next year. The app is commercially available, thus by removing much of the risk from early investors. Thank you so much.
Wow, Stefan, that was awesome. I'm pumped. I'm pumped. Oh my gosh, this is great. You know,
thank you.
So questions. I'm sure we've got many questions here.
You know, you can tell he has not practiced at all.
No, he hasn't. That was great. Robert, our first question comes from Robert.
Thank you. So my question is I'm a fan, so what's the cost to me?
The cost to you as a fan is 0, a big fat 0. So it's free.
How do you make money then?
It's free for fans to use. Fans can elect to tip. They can buy tickets to exclusive events that their favorite artists are streaming only by ticketed events. They have, they can patronize an artist, which, as you know, is huge business. $2 billion in patronage has already occurred on Patreon alone. And of course, we're working with top brands as well through our influencer marketing components that you saw embedded inside the technology.
And where do you stand in terms of your go-to-market?
Where do we stand in terms of as far as where are we in that process?
Yes.
We have Brian. I don't know if you're welcome to jump in anytime.
Sure. So we have the beta app out on both Android and iOS, and we are releasing features from now through the end of 2021. We have a product roadmap, and within those, we are releasing the monetization features. We are ready to launch those in 2 weeks. We need to make sure we have capital in the bank in order to support that rollout. We have already started onboarding artists, and we will start onboarding fans very soon.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Howard.
One moment.
Okay.
Hi. How are you?
Okay, hi, Howard. We're well, thank you. We love doing what we do. As you can tell, there's just a little passion here.
Yeah, good to see you. Long time no see. Yeah, wanted to talk to you or to get you to give a little more color to the group on kind of the how you plan to kind of allocate your development work and your marketing development work between the fan stuff that you aim primarily at the fans versus stuff that you aim primarily to recruit talent, which then will bring their fans in. And what do you see happening to the growth of the fan base as time goes on in terms of the proportion of the fan base that is organically driven by viral effects in the fan base itself versus the growth from fans that are added because you're adding artists?
Sure. So this is a pretty big question. Let's see if I can unpack the whole thing. So in the beginning, we will be targeting artists. So we have a two-tiered approach. We're targeting high-level artists on one side, where we're bringing in these artists like the Wailers, Kalea Wassman. They have large followings, and we are working with them to help them onboard their fan base. We also are bringing in artists on the lower level, where Sami Khan and Staircase Digital are reaching out to artists to fill the pipeline with these lower tier artists that have between 5,000 and 25,000 followers. And we plan on filling the platform with content. Now, early next year, we plan on increasing the spend on user acquisition and switching the target a little bit more toward the fan. And we will be leveraging some of our artists to do that, because we can deep link into artist performances. So what we are going to do is start campaigns where we say, see what Kalea Wassman is doing on Trubify, and we can then link those, run those ads in Facebook or Instagram, and link people into their performances. So I think that answers those two pieces. I think there was a piece on the organic fan engagement, and we do believe that we will hit a critical mass sometime near the end of next year, where it will be a viral expansion, kind of like a TikTok or an Instagram, where we will become a platform where people will start looking for content. We are working with some of the artists and how to repackage the content that they produce on our platform to distribute it on the other platforms. So we're building a CRM, and they can reshare some snippets of their video that are going to be watermarked with Trubify, and then use that to promote their performances within the app. And I think, were there any other questions, Howard, that you wanted me to?
You unpacked a lot.
Yeah, that was great. It's great.
That was good.
So, any more other questions? I know Pat had a question, but he probably just answered it because your hand's down. Anyone else?
No, I was truly, I'm a fan of the voice, and I'm thinking, wow, that would be a good collaboration.
Yeah.
You know, they will be, you know, that's a great synergy there.
And I just want to say it's good to see you again, Stephen, and you continue to knock these presentations out of the park. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Very kind of you.
Yeah, that was very impressive.
Are you advising them, Ken? You're not allowed to vote. I'm just kidding. You can. I'm just kidding.
You know, it's really.
I'm sorry. Do you have an exit strategy?
So we do. So we're teeing this thing up for an acquisition. We know that there's a couple of big players right now that are actively currently seeking to expand their music offering. And of course, with the boom of live streaming, there's a huge opportunity here. So companies, of course, like Amazon, Google, Apple, Sony, there's others too. They're all right now, you know, trying to increase their music offering. And we know that we're building it to be an acquisition target.
Thank you. Great. That's great. Any more questions? That was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Brian. Great presentation.
Great presentation. And you know, you got a question from the master marketer, right, Howard?
I know.
Right?
Yeah, right.
All right.
I won't
thank
say
you,
what else I'm a master at, but that would go both ways.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we are at the very last one. So the last company is Eureka Science, and that is Shubhane. Where is Shubhane? Is he here? I see, and here's the hand and coming in. All right, please evaluate the previous company.
Okay, hello everyone.
Hello.
You hear me fine?
Hello.
I was just
Yes.
thinking I should have called this company AAA Eureka so that I don't go last. Okay, let me start by sharing my screen.
You know, the yellow pages are gone, right? So.
Yeah. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Shuvi and I'm the CEO at Eureka. Sorry. Okay. So let me start by telling you all that smelling chocolate increases theta brainwaves. That means that it makes you more creative. And every year, the trees are blooming earlier and the storms are getting stronger. And that the election results can be accurately predicted from the polls. And the expansion of the universe is accelerating. Okay, did you believe everything that I just said? How do you decide which science statement to believe? Does it depend on who you hear it from? So whether you know that the expansion of the universe is accelerating or not, you probably agree that the horizons of science is expanding. Every day, there are hundreds of thousands of science papers that come out, and it's getting harder and harder to know what is relevant, to know what is fact, what is science, even as a scientist and even in your own field. If you go to find science results on social media, that's not the best solution because there are a lot of pet pictures, there are a lot of politics discussions. And journals that publish scientific results, they are also not the best solutions out there because journals charge the scientists to publish their papers. Journals charge the scientists to read the papers that are in the journals, and they do not even pay the scientists to referee the work of their peers. Preprints, they're awesome. Papers are published are there for free and you can read them, but the problem there is there's no feedback and it's not easy if you cannot find which paper is relevant, and there are many papers in the preprints. Our solution is Eureka, is a mobile and web application that is to the point. Every day from the archives, from the preprints, all the postings are transferred to Eureka, and they are categorized into different branches of science. Scientists themselves can post their discoveries, their new ideas, that they look for collaborations on the platform. Eureka is efficient. You can get real-time feedback from scientists rather than writing an email to a single scientist. You get this platform that it's open to other scientists. And you can stay connected with your peers, not just in your own field, but in interdisciplinary areas. The market for Eureka is mainly researchers and academics, although science enthusiasts can also use the app. The number of people who hold PhDs in the world is around 5 billion now, and that number is of course increasing every year. And English-speaking journals market is about $10 billion, and again increasing, and that is mostly paid by universities. In designing Eureka, we made sure that the focus stays on science, so that it's science focused, but it has the user friendliness of all the social media apps like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc. Basically everything that a 21st century person expects as something that should be there, like liking, I don't know, commenting, tagging, mentioning, those easy to use stuff that are not that easy to actually implement in an app. We raised $150,000 when we launched, before launch 2 years ago, and we used that money to build the app, to design the app, which is now available on both Android and iOS. and we are working on releasing the web version very soon. This is our user growth, and with minimal advertisement, we are looking for more investment to continue adding features to the app and to continue our user growth. And we are expecting to make money by adding the academic job market to Eureka, by hosting conferences and helping with the conference services, and by also adding subscriptions for for universities and departments. Our team is the two other co-founders and myself are all astrophysicists, and we are well aware of this need in the science community. Thank you.
Thank you, Shubhane. Do we have any questions from the panelists? Questions? Okay, well, we don't have any questions. Thank you so much. Oh, we do. Oh, there we go. There's Howard. Okay. Oh yeah, here they come. Howard, let's start with Howard.
Thank you. This is interesting. Archive, etc., don't have this, and they're not planning to release it. There's no activity going on amongst the existing preprint.
No, so
services.
there's no discussion happening there. No feedback is being gained through the archive. No, not even ranking. No system recommendation system. It's very outdated, and I mean, it's a perfect system because it's free, but it's not. It doesn't meet the needs of today work, basically.
Okay, similar question regarding Wikipedia.
Say again.
So
Wikipedia has content, but it's not the it's not the science publications. It's a different platform. But it's for general user rather than for a researcher in a university that is publishing their latest result that needs to be refereed and reviewed, etc.
So you don't feel that they're going to try to move into this as a public service, for example, because it's quite many of the people who write the Wikipedia articles on technical and scientific subjects are in effect leading people in the field, or at least they may not be the PI, but they're a graduate student or something, or a postdoc that is part of the team that is working on leading.
I mean, not
stuff.
many of them, some of them. It's actually very interesting that if you look up people who are editing Wikipedia, many of them don't even have degrees. Some of them don't have college degrees.
But then the ones who do have degrees get angry, and then they get on and start.
That's true. In Eureka, we connect to ORCID, which is an identification number for scientists. So people who write there are known PhD holder scientists in their field.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Did you get to the money side of what you're asking for, or did that not get mentioned? I don't think it did.
We are looking for about $1 million investment to hire developers and hire marketing people to do advertising better.
And have you got any of it yet? And at what pre-money valuation or cap are you raising this money?
So we only raised that $150,000 2 years ago, which we spent basically on designing and launching the app.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, Howard. We're going to go to Chris. Chris has a question.
Sure. Do you mind to elaborate in terms of your content aggregation? Is this more of a community approach that you are having other scientists contribute to this platform, or are you aggregating and sourcing content from other like sources, journals, academia sources?
Both.
Both, right?
So yes. So scientists who are verified on the app, which is very easy, it's just that identification number I mentioned, can generate content on the app. So they can just publish their scientific plot or their paper that is already published, or their idea that they're looking for collaborators. as well as we are basically getting all the archive into Eureka every day. So there is one bot, Eureka bot, which does this every day.
How would you ensure that the content that's being created is accurate and is pretty much scientific versus other?
It's very much like the archive, except that we have so the way the posts are ranked on Eureka is a smart ranking system based on the interactions on each of the postings by scientists. But there is no, I mean, just like anyone can post onto the archive and it cannot be right. It's how science is built up on the previous works. Same thing.
And final question, kind of related, is how would you get to this critical mass? Right? Because your platform obviously relies on users, and you need to have a significant number of users for it to be can be quickly adapted. So, what's your plan?
So we are planning to start with California universities and do our advertising plans from California, and then maybe focus on one field at a time. So right now, all the different branches, biology, astrophysics, et cetera, are on the app, but we are going to focus on one and then move towards all the other ones.
Thank you, Chris, for that question. Scott, you're next. Scott, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, sorry, time's up.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's okay. No, you can ask your question, Scott. Go ahead.
I was just gonna. It was a little more building on what Howard was saying. I like Chris's. They took most of my questions already, but very interesting. I'm more interested in the competitive landscape again. Both for. Do you know of any other, more specifically, any small companies like yourselves that are targeting other pieces of this? And then at the other extreme, how about big guys like LexisNexis or people that do academic journals already?
So there are different small companies, for example, academia, there is one, but none of these small companies bring together all the different needs. For example, in one of them, you can read papers and you can bookmark papers to get to in I don't know, later times, but you cannot search in different branches of science. For example, you cannot get feedback. You cannot, I don't know, it doesn't have messaging or different things. In Eureka, what we are doing is we are bringing basically every need together, from reading papers to getting feedback to reading the archive to bookmarking, messaging, making collaborations, all those things with the ease of social media. Basically, imagine you have Instagram, but instead of looking at dog pictures, you have papers, and that ease of communication.
Excellent, thank you.
Can I, hey, Zandra, JJ, since this is the last one and nobody's waiting, could I ask one more question?
Sure.
Thanks. Can you talk just a little about what I call curation and refereeing? Not refereeing, but let's put it this way. I could see how without some curation or some cost for constantly looking at, keeping trolls out of it, keeping personal insults out of it, blah, blah. With that, if you don't have some way of enforcing civility of some level, this could get out of control. So how much is it going to cost you to do that, and who's going to do that?
That is a very good question and a concern from the beginning that we started this. I think there is no real way to stop these things. We have that ORCID verification number that links to your name and your institution where you work at. So you can't just create an account and put content out there on Eureka with a fake name and fake ORCID number. So that's one way that we make sure that we know that that's a scientist and not a troll with that number. But I mean, at some point, someone might go and claim an ORCID number and then claim that they're at some university. But that would be I hope that would be Minimal and ORCID would take care of that because right now, if you look at ORCID, they claim that every person with an ORCID number is a scientist who's publishing in science journals. So once you publish in a science journal, you get that ORCID number. And also the content that gets ranked is based on the interactions and the level of activity by the scientists.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Well, thank you. I think that was all
Thank
of our
you.
questions. Thank you for the presentation.
Sure.
Thanks,
Thank you
Shabine,
all.
very much. All right. Please evaluate the last company, Eureka. And if you want to stick around for just a few minutes, the last few of them, we've been just sitting around discussing the previous companies. So if you have just a few minutes, 5-10 minutes maybe max, we can do that. It proved very popular. So, all right. So attendees, thank you for being here today. Please leave the meeting so we can discuss without you hearing what we're discussing. Thank you.
Still there.
Almost there. All right, now I'm kicking him out. All right, we're all good. Okay, what do you guys think? Let's see. What companies do you think rose to the top out of the 12 today?
Trubify.
Trubify. Yeah.
Trubify. Yeah. Trubify.
Oh, wow.
Trubify.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Wookie. What's Wookie? Sansar. And the first one,
Advertise. Yeah.
Yeah. Now ask me what the most interesting one was.
The last one, Howard.
Howard, which one was the most interesting?
For sure, the last
That
one.
Yeah.
I am that is a fascinating app. I don't know whether the team is the right team, but the idea is the right idea.
I agree. I just emailed her and told her to come join the Startup Council so we can help her. She needs a lot of help with commercialization and just business, right? But those are things we can help her with. I like the idea of the marketplace approach to academia a lot.
Yeah.
Is she's from Caltech, right?
It looks like she's in Pasadena.
They're also Caltech.
Yes.
The whole group is just from Caltech. Yeah. I would like to follow up with them personally also.
All right, I'll make an introduction.
I'd like to ask a question.
Yeah, please go ahead, John.
What do you guys think? What do the judges think of the scoring system? I thought it was overwhelming for a 5 or 4 minute presentation. I think if we do this in the future, JG, you can figure out how to simplify it.
The 10 questions.
Yeah, the 10 questions that would be for a month of diligence. To get the impression on a 4 minute pitch, I was just overwhelmed. I was guessing. And I think just, would you invest? Would you go to diligence? Would you take him to lunch? What's the next step? That would be a better way to get reaction and find because it's a combination of the person, the jockey, as somebody said, the business plan. Do we have a customer? The clarity of the pitch.
Well, I mean, again, we need a way to score, and we kind of funneled it down to 10 questions on a score from 1 to 7, and then did a lot of studies around that. So 1 to 7 seems to be the best way instead of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10.
Sure, I get that, but just fewer factors.
Fewer questions than 10. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, just to let you know, some of the judges, investors, what they've been doing is they've been going the day before to just take a quick look, and then they come to this having some idea. So I'm going to say a lot of the judges reached out to me always the day before to go take a look. So some have done that. Some have seen them during the first round, and so they have some idea. But if it's, I would agree that if it's the first time, potentially could be quite a bit for a 5-minute presentation. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to raise my hand. Can I raise my hand and make a comment?
Please.
The presentation itself, even like I study all the deck and everything in there, there's always not all the detailed information. For instance, IP, it's never ever really hardly addressed.
Right.
Or you know, there's 2 or 3 data point that maybe just like the recommendation converted into our personal impression at the end. Do we think it's an investable company? Is it something we'd be willing to follow up? And that's a good sentiment to as an indicator, because some of those points we really don't know. I don't know how to address IP because half of them don't address it. You know?
So maybe what we could do is have one question. Move it interested or not interested.
Kind of a
or
net promoter
interest
score.
level, even a quantifiable level of like, if you are interested, how would you rate it as your interest level, you know?
Okay.
I'd like
Still-
to piggyback
So
on.
JJ, this is my first year with you, and this is my 5th category. What I like is that we can see the deck beforehand, we can see the business model beforehand, and then when I see the presentation, I fill in the missing holes that weren't in the presentation. And I think as the judges are active, we learn from each other. So I like your system.
Yeah.
And if I could provide a little bit of feedback as well, I like what Pat was saying, right? And it makes a lot of sense that it seems like we're evaluating whether they did a good job in terms of putting together the deck, more from a class projects perspective, right? Yes, you got your deal term in there, you got your business model, marketing plan on there, right? But at the end of the day, right, you could score very high on some of those items, but we as investors probably don't have the interest in investing because you don't have a big enough market, or your solution is not as applicable, or the barrier to entry is too low, right? So even though the average is higher, it's probably not a true depiction of how this company is going to do.
I think a good point. Well taken. I think we probably make some changes in order to accommodate for that, because at the end of the day, your interest is to see if this is something investable or not, or you want to see it again or not. And yeah, some of the questions are more kind of technical, I guess, to say, oh yeah, it's a great presentation, but I still don't want to see them. They suck.
Yeah.
Okay, to that last point, one of the things you could do is you could have at the end of the judging is would you invest in this, yes or no? And
Yes.
when you add up all the judges, I think that addresses several of the points that have been brought up.
Yeah,
Okay,
well
yeah,
said,
I think
well
that's
said.
fair.
And you know
Yeah.
what, JJ, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you could also add another item and we could rate this whole venture, competition you put together, and I will put 100% into it. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. This has been a lot more work than I thought, but
We
it's
can
been
tell.
fun. It's been fun.
I think it's also been great entertainment, JJ.
Oh yeah.
Right. JJ, you ever thought of just having 2 sections to the questionnaire with equal weight? One of which is the existing questionnaire, and then make people fill that out beforehand, based only on the writing, and that's worth 100%.
So we did that. We did that actually. That was round 1. That's how it's supposed
But
to
they
be.
should refill it because they're seeing different people. Because the judges in this round are not necessarily the same people who rated them in the beginning.
They should be.
Yeah.
Are they? I think we
Yeah,
have more
they should
people,
be.
right?
Yeah,
The people that are on the panels, they
Yes.
chose the panel. There should be in the first and the second and the third. Actually,
Yes.
just first and second.
Okay, well, great. I think that the whole questionnaire should be take the team thing out of the questionnaire and just have it rate everything but the team. And then have a separate thing that basically says, do you like this team on a scale of 1 to 10? Are these the people that can take this thing and make it happen? And then a second question is, how strongly do you feel that this is an investable company? Would you put your own money into it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, well, 1 to 7. 7 is better. That's what the
Whatever.
research says.
Yeah, I know you're using 1 to 7. I know.
No,
you're
I'm
using
just kidding.
Somehow I think that might make it a little easier to deal with.
It is.
To this, to this phase of it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So again, I think I asked this before, since we're talking about this, is I'm thinking of when we do this next time, instead of having all these categories, 10 of them, we'll have maybe 3 or maximum 5. And I was thinking B2B and B2C could fit everything. And then life sciences is a different animal. So maybe 3 categories.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
You over-engineered the concept.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we did. So, and I was thinking maybe if we need to add 2 more, would be maybe fintech and clean tech or something.
Yes.
But 3 of them would fit everything, I think.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yes. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much, JJ. That was great.
Pat, thank you. Any comments on the companies? Anyone wants to, other than Howard, wants to be introduced to the last company? Anybody who needs an introduction to any of them?
Yeah, I'll reach out to you, JJ, separately on the ones that are on my list.
All right.
I'm lining up companies for next year.
All right, perfect. All right. Any other comments? Anybody?
It was great.
Great
I enjoyed
job.
it. I enjoyed it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for all the effort.
All right.
See you next
Last panel,
time.
JJ?
Bye.
Thank you.
Sorry, say that again, Benton.
Is
Sorry.
this the last panel?
No.
Okay, yeah. So just to update everyone, so the hardware software panel was on Monday, and I don't know if any of you were there, but because we evacuated, we moved it to Wednesday next week. So there's 1 more panel in round 2, and then round 3 is split into 2, which is on the 12th and the 17th of November, and this is everybody's involved in that one. All the judges will be part of the 12th and the 17th. So that's basically the last 8 companies are competing against each other to have 1 winner. And then also I'll mention that I mentioned at the beginning that I had some suggestions from people saying, since we only have 8 categories, when we eliminated 2 because of competitors, we're gonna bring in 2 wild cards that have the highest scores. We'll bring them into the final as well. So we'll have 10 companies split over 2 days. They'll have 12-minute pitch, 12-minute Q&A. So we couldn't do them anyway in 1 day. So we'll be on the 12th and the 17th. So hopefully you'll all be there, so we can have a great final round.
Yeah. JJ, what times on the 12th and 17th?
All of them are 12 to noon. 12 to 3. All the events.
Okay.
Yeah, you should have it on your calendar from before that. I've sent you the emails before. So 12 on 12.
Should, but for some reason I don't. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, please do. All right. Does that answer your question, Benton?
This month, the 17th, by the way, this month is the co-fund pitch review.
And what time is it?
That starts from 9 to 12:30 usually.
Okay. Yeah, you can sit on another Zoom for another 6 hours. You'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Benton, did that answer your question?
It did, yeah.
All right. All right. Very good. Well, thank you again, Ken, Robert, Scott, John, Vishal, Benton, and Howard. Thank you so much.
Thank you, JJ.
Bye-bye.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.